Mr. Matson's confident belief in his own infertility was about to collide head-on with cold, hard DNA evidence. Mrs. Matson stood on the plaintiff's side, a mix of defiance and anger on her face. She had to prove that her 6-month-old daughter was, without a shadow of a doubt, Mr. Matson's biological child.
Mrs. Matson, you say you are here today because you are determined to prove to your husband, Mr. Matson, that your 6-month-old daughter is his biological child. You claim that he is trying to abandon your daughter and has a track record of doing so with other children.
The question wasn't just who the father was. It was whether a man who believed himself biologically incapable of fathering a child had been living a lie all along. The judge turned to Mr. Matson, who explained his reasons: years of alleged infidelity, whispers of betrayal, and a vasectomy that supposedly sealed his reproductive fate.
Now, Mr. Matson, you claim Mrs. Matson has been having affairs with other men throughout your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe you have every reason to doubt paternity.
Mrs. Matson revealed the tangled roots of their relationship. They'd met at a casino on his wedding night. Yes, the night he was supposed to be celebrating with another woman. What started as a reckless flirtation spiraled into a marriage, but not before it became clear that Mr. Matson had never legally untangled himself from his previous vows.
How did you all meet? How did this begin, this relationship?
He came into the casino that I was working in. I was a 21 dealer. He came in, sat down at my table on his wedding night.
Okay, I'm
what was
almost
the
afraid
first
to
thing?
ask what happens from there.
How could he be so sure of his sterility? Mr. Matson told the court his medical history. Following everything he had gone through, doctors had written off his chances of fatherhood. He couldn't have children. End of story. As far as he is concerned, this child was the evidence of the wife's cheating.
Had many procedures done. At the end
Ask
of
him
one
the
of my
doctor that
procedures.
did the vasectomy.
Hold on, Miss Matson. Let him speak. Now, Mr. Matson, continue.
Okay, I have congestive heart failure.
Yet Mrs. Matson's story painted a different picture. She'd met this same doctor, who had reportedly been thrilled about the baby. Hardly the reaction one might expect if his vasectomy had been legitimate. She suggested that Mr. Matson's sterility was nothing more than an elaborate lie, a manipulative play to avoid responsibility. But is it really?
If he did a surgery
I'm the first to
that
admit,
said that he
I'm
can't
a
have
player.
kids,
And I've been
met
with how
this
many
doctor.
girls? And you're the
He's
only one
happy
that
that
can-
we were
Yeah,
having a
okay.
kid together. He told the doctor that it was his kid.
Did you tell the doctor it was your child?
I told the doctor that it's our child.
By the time Mrs. Matson announced her pregnancy, the cracks in their marriage had grown into a big hole. She'd handed him the positive test, expecting joy or at least acknowledgement. Instead, he recoiled, the color draining from his face. Who wouldn't? The science is clear on vasectomies.
So, you're pregnant.
Yes.
And you believe your husband
I
is the
know
father.
He is the father, yes.
But he denies it.
He didn't really have a response when I told him that I was pregnant. I came downstairs, I took a...
The judge, unfazed by the theatrics, probed deeper. Mr. Matson, on the other hand, boasted of his infidelities. He didn't just admit to them, he wore them like a badge of honor. The audience gasped, knowing the battle ahead was as much against the husband's character as it was against the wife's accusations.
I heard the voicemails. I heard the text messages of his girlfriends calling him.
If you want to prove it, I could have just sent you pictures. Then you really know how much of a player I am.
Mr. Matson, so you openly admit that you were with other women.
Of course.
Her claims were clear. He was running away, abandoning his own flesh and blood. But Mrs. Matson wasn't an angel in this tale of mistrust and deception. She admitted to cheating. Just once, she claimed, during a time when she felt more like a ghost in her own marriage than a wife.
And I have to ask you, have you ever cheated on him?
One time, yes, I did, because the owner of the company that we was working for died. His wife was taking her husband's death.
The tension in the courtroom intensified as Mr. Matson's sister took the stand. She was a wild card, a witness who barely knew Mrs. Matson yet seemed to hold a reservoir of resentment. She echoed her brother's doubts, feeding the flames of suspicion, but nothing could prepare them for the final reveal: the DNA results.
Mr. Matson, you are the father.
Told you.
got a
Now you
miracle
can
child.
apologize to me because I'm not the guy. You are.
Olivia Brown never expected her life to turn upside down over a birthday greeting. But when her sister Andrea said that the man she called Dad was not his father, Olivia's mind exploded with decades of doubts and whispers. She had always felt like an outsider in her own family, her lighter complexion starkly contrasting her siblings and the man she had called Dad. Today, she wants to be sure what is going on.
Ms. Brown, you claim that after 21 years, you were stunned when in a heated argument, your sister blurted out that the man you believed was your dad might not be your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown stood stoically as the courtroom absorbed the chaos. He had stood by Olivia since the day she was born, cradled her in his arms, and whispered promises of love and protection. But his own history with Olivia's mother, Angel, was a nightmare of suspicion.
Now, Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Brown's mother cheated on you throughout your relationship, and you even once found a naked man hiding in her bedroom closet.
Yes, Your Honor.
You blame her for your daughter's current pain and confusion.
Yes, I do.
According to Olivia, issues started when her sister, Andrea, snidely asked why her dad was sending Olivia money. Olivia has had suspicions, and that was enough to tip her over the edge.
Please tell the court, how did all this confusion surrounding your paternity begin?
All my life, I always thought Mr. Brown was my father. But what really triggered me off.
Desperate for the truth, Olivia confronted her mother. The answer didn't provide much relief. It wasn't just two men. There had been a parade of lovers, shadowed rendezvous, and a revolving door of secrets that only deepened the cracks in Olivia's reality.
Me and my other spouse I had before him, I got with him. But I was seeing both of them after that.
I didn't know
But
that.
doing
See, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
you did.
You didn't
Do
just
so
know I
the
didn't.
bottom
You
line
didn't
is,
know
Miss
that.
McIntyre, there
Bull
was
crap.
a
According to Olivia's mom, her other spouse probably had a vasectomy or is sterile, and for the 7 years she was with him, she couldn't conceive. However, when she met Mr. Brown, she became pregnant in a few years.
In your mind, you said to yourself, I've been with this man 7 years. I have never gotten pregnant. Then I ended up seeing Mr. Brown, starting a relationship with him. Next thing you know, I'm pregnant. This baby has to be Mr. Brown's. This is what you initially thought.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, as if the story needed more fuel, Mr. Brown dropped another bombshell. Olivia could be the child of a lover from a secret affair, and potentially the product of a betrayal within his own family. The audience shifted uncomfortably as years of buried sins clawed their way to the surface.
Did you sleep with my brother? Answer that for me.
You
Answer
like
that
to
for me.
make a lot
Did
of
you or not?
exaggeration.
Did you sleep with my brother?
I slept with your
You
brother
was a
says you
late-
walk
late-
with him.
Let's get some order.
He dead and gone. He can't
He
stand up
sure
for
is.
himself. If he was here, he'll tell the truth. I went to the house. I said, bro.
He recounted a night that had been on his mind for over 2 decades. A night when he found a naked man hiding in Angel's closet. The same man, he claimed, who could very well be Olivia's biological father. The courtroom gasped, but Angel barely flinched.
You feel like Ms. McIntyre was basically sleeping with other men in addition to you.
Was.
That's your
I caught guys all in
contention.
the closet in the house, man. Naked dude. You know, when I came by the house.
Who was in the closet?
The guy that she said supposed to be Olivia's father, I went over, me and some of my friends went out drinking.
Caught between the two, Olivia revealed the pain of growing up with the rumors. Family members whispered that she didn't belong. As it turned out, her name wasn't a coincidence. It was the name of the other man's mother. Had Angel named her daughter as a silent acknowledgement of the truth? Or was it a cruel twist of fate? Whatever it was, Olivia's sister wants her dad to herself.
You want to know, is he your biological father?
Yes, I want to know because I'm tired of people. That's not your daddy.
He's
That's
not.
my daddy.
Ma'am, please step up to the podium.
He's not your daddy.
The room seemed to shrink when the paternity test results were handed to the judge. Every breath was held. Every eye trained on the paper that held the answer. The judge's voice cut through the silence with the final verdict.
Mr. Brown is not
Oh!
your father.
I'm sorry, baby.
Felice's face was a mixture of fear and desperation. She had everything to lose: her marriage, her family, her dignity, and all of it hinged on a simple DNA test. She swore up and down that Darren was the father, but her own hazy recollections didn't help.
Ms. Baker, you say the fate of your marriage is riding on today's DNA results. You are suing to prove that your 3-month-old son, Caleb, was fathered by your husband, Mr. Baker.
He thought he had taken every precaution. A simple procedure, a snip that was supposed to ensure he would never have to face the paternity question again. Yet, here he was, facing his wife, Felice, and the 3-month-old baby, Caleb, whose mere existence was a living contradiction.
Mr. Baker, you say it's medically impossible for you to have a child, and therefore Caleb cannot be yours. You say if the DNA results prove you are not the father, you will leave your wife and family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Felice admitted to drinking heavily, to the kind of blackouts that swallowed memories whole. She wasn't just struggling with the question of fidelity. She was battling against the ghosts of nights she couldn't remember. Her relationship with Darren had never been a fairy tale. However, the judge wants to confirm from Darren whether this was all caused by distrust.
Mr. Baker, before this, was there a lack of trust in the relationship?
Well, Your Honor, to be completely honest, when Felice and I had gotten together, the way that we got together was I had done some work in her home, and that's the way that we met.
Also, Felice's history didn't do much to bolster his trust. She had once appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, involved in a scandal over secret debts that had left her previous marriage reeling. Lies were not unfamiliar territory for her, but Darren's doubts weren't just born of jealousy or suspicion. They were grounded in biology. For him, Felice's pregnancy wasn't just improbable, it was impossible.
Mr. Baker, you say that it's medically impossible for you to have fathered this child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
Back in 1991, I have done regarding vasectomies. Once the procedure hits the 20-year mark, they literally put it into the realm of impossibility.
When Felice first told him about the missed periods, Darren's reaction was immediate denial. He accompanied her to the store, not once, but 3 times, as if the sheer volume of pregnancy tests could outweigh the evidence before his eyes. And when all 3 tests came back positive, he turned to the only solace he could find, the internet. It was either a miracle or a nightmare, and neither option brought him comfort.
When you found this out, Mr. Baker, what was your first thought?
I went on the internet. I Googled what can cause a false positive. And there's only 4 conditions that a false positive will show up on a pregnancy test. Obviously, number 1 is pregnancy.
Felice, too, was confused. The thought of pregnancy seemed ludicrous, so her mind clung to the darkest possibility, cancer. The next morning, a trip to the emergency room delivered the truth. She wasn't dying. She was just 3.5 months pregnant.
So you thought for a minute that this
Absolutely.
was cancer?
Yes, Your Honor. I let her sleep through the night. I didn't sleep a wink. Went to work the next day. She calls me up at 11 o'clock, crying hysterically. And I said, honey, what's wrong? She says, I'm not pregnant. I said, what do you mean you're not pregnant? How do you know? She goes, I'm dying of ovarian cancer.
It should have been a moment of relief, but instead, it shattered Darren's world. His mind raced through every possibility, every worst-case scenario. Had Felice cheated on him during one of her drinking binges? Had she simply forgotten, or was she lying outright?
And I can most certainly understand why that opened up another can of worry worms for you.
I couldn't believe it myself. I just took it as that it was a total miracle from God because of the baby. I quit drinking. So I just took it from God that He put this baby in my stomach.
And yet, there was a cruel irony to it all. Not long before, they had considered a vasectomy reversal. They wanted a child together, a fresh start, but they had talked themselves out of it. 11 children, 5 grandchildren. We're too old for this, they'd said, throwing away the packet from the specialist twice.
Another part to this, Your Honor. Our one regret was that we never had a child together. We contacted a gentleman who is the predominant specialist on vasectomy reversal in the entire nation, located in San Diego, and they sent us a package.
When the DNA test results finally came, there was silence. There was anticipation. Darren's breath hitched, his world tilting on its axis. The universe, it seemed, had other plans. Or did it?
Mr. Baker, you are the father.
Man with lifelong medical condition claims he had a miracle baby. Full episode, Paternity Court. Mr. Rundle's entire world hung by a thread. For a man who had been told he might never father a child, every heartbeat was a drum of hope and dread. His daughter, Ireland, his so-called miracle baby, was now at the mercy of cold, scientific truth. And if that truth betrayed him, everything he'd held on to Every midnight feeding, every whispered promise would evaporate, leaving only the hollow echo of deception.
Mr. Runnels, you claim a lifelong medical condition led you to believe you would never be a father. That was until the birth of your daughter, Ireland, who you claim is your miracle baby. But now the defendant says you are not the father. You are here to prove that miracles really do happen. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor, the woman he loved and the mother of Ireland, stood across the courtroom with a face that betrayed nothing but heartbreak. She wants Ireland to be his. She really does. But the truth is that another man lingered in the shadows of their story.
Ms. Taylor, you say it breaks your heart to stand in court to prove that Mr. Runnels is not Ireland's daddy, as you wish in your heart he were. But you say the truth is another man is her biological father.
For years, Mr. Runnels had lived under the curse of his medical condition, hypospadias, a rare and often misunderstood disorder. 4 failed surgeries and a doctor's opinion had been enough to bury his dreams of fatherhood. He'd resigned himself to a life where adoption was the only path to a family.
Mr. Runnels, why is this test so important to you?
This test is so important to me. For me to be able to have a daughter, it's a miracle.
Having Ireland.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you want that miracle too.
Yes.
But you just don't believe.
No, I don't.
This is the case.
And then, against all odds, Ireland arrived. She was the rainbow after the storm, a burst of color in a life shaded by gray. But miracles are fragile things. The courtroom was filled with sympathy as the judge prompted Ms. Taylor to recount the events.
How long have you all been together?
We've been together almost 4 years.
All right, so you were in a long-standing relationship.
We tried for a good 2 years and nothing was happening. We were talking about, going into adoption if it didn't happen, to try to, get a kid, because we really do want to start a life together. We want to have our own little family and, get out in the world. We had unprotected sex.
When pressed, Ms. Taylor admitted she had told the other man about her pregnancy through a Facebook message, but she hadn't said a word to Mr. Runnels. Instead, he had hacked into her account, desperate for answers. What he found tore him apart. The man who thought he could never father a child, who believed he'd been given a miracle, was left staring into the screen of betrayal.
But did you tell Mr. Runnels you cheated?
No, ma'am.
No, I did not. He found out physically on my Facebook.
I had to hack her Facebook and find out by myself.
And so what did you see?
The very first message that popped up was her telling the other dude that it might be his, or it's more than positive his kid.
Despite the gut punch of her confession, Mr. Runnels stood by her. Through the appointments and pregnancy, he was there, loyal, unwavering, hopeful. When Ireland was born, his name was on the birth certificate, and his face beamed down at her in those first tender moments of life.
And are you there when baby Ireland is born?
Yes, Your Honor. I was at the hospital. The other guy was not, by our choice. But I requested to have a DNA test done at the hospital. But I left for 10 minutes to go outside, get some fresh air or whatever. And I came back up and, talked to Miss Taylor to see if she had talked to the doctors about getting one done. And she said no.
But a gnawing suspicion never truly dies. He would look into Ireland's face, searching for the curve of his smile and the echo of his own features. But all he saw were the imprints of another man. Even as he cradled her, a question lingered. Was this love he felt or a lie he lived?
Ireland is 8 months old.
Yes, ma'am.
Has it affected your ability to bond with her?
Sometimes it does feel a little wrong to be trying to bond with a kid that may not be mine. But like I said, I've been there, her whole life.
When Ms. Taylor presented an ultrasound as evidence, the room leaned in. She pointed out features she believed aligned with the other man. But Mr. Runnels countered. Those ears, he argued, were undeniably his. It was a visual tug of war, a painful game of connecting the dots.
I have evidence here. I don't know.
I'd like to see that. What is the evidence state?
There's an ultrasound in there, and it was 22 weeks. It shows the baby's features, about how she looks, and the thing that gets me is I don't really see him so much in Ireland as I do, I see the other guys, forehead, the ears, the chin stuff.
I'm sorry,
but what gets me is...
He was a legal father without biology to back it up, a role held together by signatures and circumstance, not blood. And then, at last, the judge unfolded the DNA test results.
Mr. Runnels, you are her father.
Yes. Oh my
God.
Ms. Shannon Johnson had dragged Dwayne Milford to court, determined to prove that Milford was indeed the father of her son. The stakes were high, not just for her, but also for Keary's, who stood in silence, a lifetime of confusion and abandonment etched into his face.
Ms. Johnson, you claim the defendant who has a child with your first cousin is your son, Kiaris's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you say Mr. Milford's done nothing for Kiaris, and you've dragged him to court to prove he is the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Dwayne Milford's expression was that of disbelief. His claim was audacious. He couldn't be the father of 26-year-old Keary's because he was sterile. According to Milford, exposure to radiation during his military service rendered him incapable of having children.
Mr. Milford, you don't believe Mr. Johnson is your son. Your claim is that you perform police actions with air defense artillery while in the Army, which exposed you to radiation, making it impossible for you to have more children. Am I correct?
Yeah.
From the start, Ms. Johnson painted a damning picture. Milford had never done anything for Keary's. Not a visit to the hospital, not a dime for support, nothing. Milford, however, fired back. He claimed he hadn't known Johnson was pregnant, insisting she had told him it was a tumor.
What has Mr. Milford done for your son?
He's done nothing for my son, Your Honor. He didn't come to the hospital.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
Explain.
He never came to the hospital when my son was born. Anything I needed for my son, Mr. Milford never provided anything. Mr. Milford only came by to see me. He didn't come see my son.
26 years old?
26 years old.
This wasn't just a case of he said she said. There was history, ugly, twisted history. Johnson admitted to knowing Milford had a child with her cousin, and despite this, they had continued their relationship. When she finally did tell him she was pregnant, Milford said it was 7 months too late. By then, he claimed to have caught her with another man, cementing his doubts about paternity.
How did that
He kept
conversation
asking me,
go?
was I pregnant? But he said, I told him it was a tumor. But why are you asking me if I'm pregnant if you think I have a tumor?
Because I figure you lied.
So when he asked you, what did you say?
At first I told him no.
Okay.
But then I told him, yes, I was pregnant.
Why did you tell him no at first?
Because I was scared.
Yet Johnson held firm. She maintained that Milford had been present, even intimate during her pregnancy. At one point, he rocked baby Keary's for hours, she said. The courtroom became a battlefield of fragmented memories and conflicting truths.
When you saw him, did you say, oh, wow, that could be my son?
No.
Oh, you didn't? But you used to sit and rock him and hold him for hours? Yeah.
No, I had
You, Dwayne, you came to my house.
I have 2 children.
How did I get pregnant with Kimande?
But as much as the adults argued, Keary's voice cut through the noise. He spoke of the struggles of growing up without a father, of bouncing between group homes, of a life shaped by absence and uncertainty. His raw honesty cast a light on the consequences of this decades-long dispute.
Were you told that this man was your father?
At one point I was, but then I was told he wasn't.
You were?
Yes. I just don't feel I should be going through this because I didn't ask to be here, and I'm just.
Then, the story took a darker turn. Milford revealed that before his mother died, she had urged him to seek the truth. He had attempted to conduct DNA tests, not once, but thrice. According to him, Johnson had either not shown up or caused a scene that prevented the tests. Johnson denied this outright, claiming she had been focused on her children and unaware of any scheduled tests.
So yeah, I didn't want him to be the father, but I know he is. So he wasn't around.
Yeah.
Mr. Milford?
Yes, look, my mother told me to get this straight before she died. So I went down to the DNA place. She didn't show up. This the third time.
It never happened.
When did that
happen? When did that happen?
The third time she showed up with the kids and got to arguing with the DNA people.
That sounds like a good point, yeah? Why would Milford attempt DNA testing if he truly believed he was sterile? Milford's logic looks suspicious. He detailed how his role as an air defense artillery specialist in the military, surrounded by radiation, had left him unable to conceive. He'd been with other women, he said, and none had gotten pregnant. Milford suspects that his body does not pick and choose when to be fertile.
We have 2 children.
I ain't got nothing. There's no other.
We have 2 children.
Other children.
You are not sleeping blank.
From
so
I left the military.
You believe you're sterile. Please explain to me.
I worked in air defense artillery in the military underneath radars, and I got out 84, 83. And I think I was sterile till at least about 89. I was knocking down everything, but nothing coming back.
Then came the crucial moment, the DNA results. The judge opened the envelope with the kind of solemnity that only truth demands. Milford's body was tense, Johnson's eyes wide with anticipation, and Keary's standing motionless, bracing for the answer to a question that had haunted him his entire life.
Mr. Milford, you are not his father.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown, the woman at the heart of the storm, has had enough. She wasn't just asking for $2,200 in emotional damages. She was asking for closure, the kind that money couldn't buy. She had grown up without a father, shuffled through foster care, separated from her siblings, and was forced to become an adult long before her time. And now, after decades of evasions and half-truths, she wants to learn the truth.
Ms. Brown, you're here today suing your mother for $2,200 for emotional distress. You say she's caused you by not knowing who your biological father is.
Yes,
now, the court has located one possible father and must determine if there is enough evidence to order a paternity test.
Ms. Brown's mother, Ms. Brown Overstreet, stood opposite her daughter, a blend of regret and defensiveness painted across her face. She admitted to a chaotic past, one marred by promiscuity and youthful recklessness. She is sorry, but she insists she wasn't responsible for her pain.
Ms. Brown Overstreet, you admit to making mistakes as a mother, but claim you shouldn't be held accountable in court for your daughter's pain.
Yes, Your Honor.
You hope there's enough evidence presented today to prove that the man in court today is your daughter's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
As a sign of giving her closure, she had handed Ms. Brown a list of potential fathers, none of whom she had ever confronted. A list that felt more like a cruel lottery ticket than a guide to Ms. Brown's identity. Hold on, did she say 67 potential fathers?
How does it feel to be suing your mother?
Not as bad as it felt growing up.
Okay.
Like,
we want the truth in this courtroom.
My mom she wasn't there as much as she should have been there. I asked her on several occasions, do you know who my father could be? My mama just said, I don't know.
A DNA test had already ruled out one man on that list, but the man sitting in court today, Clifton Smith, had yet to face the scientific truth. There is a possibility that this man might be her father, but Ms. Brown went through a lot because of the lack of a fatherly figure in her life.
One of them, we had to do a DNA test, and it turned out he wasn't my father.
And is he listed on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one is he?
He's the first one.
The man in the Navy?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes, Your Honor.
Not the father, proven by a DNA test?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the man Clifton Smith, who's in our court today, has not been tested yet?
No, Your Honor.
When Ms. Brown first encountered him, it wasn't through an introduction or a warm family reunion. No. He had shown up at her workplace, a stranger with a hauntingly familiar face. He stood there staring before approaching her with a bombshell.
Your Honor, I was working at my hometown, and this guy just showed up, and he was like staring at me. I'm like, who is this guy? When I went and got my manager, that's when he tells me, oh, hey, I'm your dad. You're my daughter. So I asked my mom when I get off work, I say, it's this guy that came up to my job, Mr. Smith.
Ms. Brown Overstreet admitted she had suspected Mr. Smith might be the father. But why wait so long to say anything? Why now, when the damage was already done? Ms. Brown had every right to be angry. Mr. Smith, the potential father, was brought to the court. He confirmed meeting Ms. Brown and apologized for what she went through, but he maintained that he was blameless in this situation.
It was a fling when I got with her that summer. And she had a boyfriend at the time. You know, we got together. It was more than once. And I went back home for the summer. I came back for the winter vacation. And I saw her. And I'm like, wow, you look a little fat there. She says to me, I ain't fat, I'm pregnant. Next thing came out my mouth, well, who's the father? She said, don't worry about it. It ain't you.
He thought he was in the clear. As a kid, he had a terrible injury that led the doctors to believe that he might never have children. All through his adulthood, the doctor's expert opinion seems to have held true. It is unlikely to suddenly change now, especially for a woman who had a boyfriend when he was intimate with her.
You stated in your court papers, though, that you have reason to have doubt.
Oh.
And you just stated in court today that she had a boyfriend during the time you slept with her.
Oh, yes. Okay, my reason is when I was 10 years old, I hurt myself really bad. I got the physical evidence to show you. Hurt myself really bad.
To shed more light on the injury and the possibility of fatherhood, the court called on another doctor to first explain Mr. Smith's condition and also discuss the likelihood of him being fertile. This doctor, though, is more optimistic, and it seems that Mr. Smith is going to witness a miracle.
Hi, Dr. Gator. Thank you so much for being with us. So, You've reviewed the evidence in this case.
Yes.
Mr. Smith contends that he had a serious injury and the doctor told him he may not be able to have children because of this. We are trying to determine whether it's even appropriate to order a DNA test. Can you shed light on the likelihood and the injury?
I believe I can.
The man who had once confidently believed he might not have a child is now facing the possibility of connecting with his daughter. All those years of loss, he intends to make it up. But will the DNA results have other plans?
Mr. Smith, you are not Shantia's father. I'm sorry. Miss Brown, you okay?
If that's mine, that's good. And I respect you for being there.
No, it wasn't. And I just want you to stop on Facebook saying, that's my brother baby, because you knew in the first place it wasn't.
God answers prayers.
Yes, ma'am. I get that.
Been going through this for a long time, like between him and his wife. Like,
it's his child.
Mr. Taylor didn't send any money while he was away.
All right.
Miss Chris appeared in paternity court to defend her late brother's honor, determined to prove that Mr. Ventris was not the biological father of Miss Thompson's baby, Malachi. She petitioned the court for a DNA test to settle the matter once and for all.
Miss Thompson, you claim that the plaintiff's brother, Ventris Chris, is Malachi's father and say today's results will prove your case and clear your name. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
As Malachi's aunt, Miss Chris took a stand for her family, arguing that Miss Thompson had been inconsistent in her claims. Initially, she had denied any connection to her brother and named another man as the father.
She said this was another man's baby before. It was my brother's before she came to my brother.
I never said it was no another person baby.
Yes,
I
you
never
did.
said who my baby father was.
Yes, she did. She's flip-flopping. You know?
I never flip-flop.
You're flip-flopping because first you said it was another man's baby. That's why you didn't tell my brother that it was his baby.
I told your brother.
No, you did not.
The plaintiff revealed that Miss Thompson had never been in a committed relationship with her brother, yet she still accused him of fathering her son. On the other hand, Miss Thompson insisted that she and Mr. Ventris had an on-again, off-again fling.
You suggesting, Miss Chris, that Miss Thompson was sleeping with your brother's friends as well?
Yeah, a couple of them, yes.
No, I never slept with his friends. I
yeah.
know that. We was just on and off. He had a lot of girlfriends.
So what made you think he was special?
Oh, baby, I knew I wasn't special.
So you knew he had a lot of girlfriends?
You don't have to be special to someone to get pregnant.
No, you don't.
So let's say that.
As many know, when teenagers have babies, life takes a drastic turn. In Miss Thompson's case, she didn't even realize she was pregnant until she was 17 weeks along.
I called the doctor, set up an appointment, and when I got there, they confirmed that I was pregnant.
And so at that time, you knew exactly who the father of your child was?
Yes.
And did you call Mr. Chris?
Yes, I told him that I was pregnant.
Did you tell him he was the father?
Yes.
Miss Chris, however, dismissed the defendant's claims. She stated that Mr. Ventris had denied paternity from the very beginning because Miss Thompson herself admitted to sleeping with another man.
Brother was denying the baby. This girl was pregnant, but she never told Ventris that it was his baby. She was saying that she was pregnant by somebody else. The baby came out looking like Ventris, you know. He's a handsome little boy, you know. That's when he called me. I guess they was having some little family issues.
Despite this, the plaintiff claimed that Miss Thompson only brought Mr. Ventris back into the picture when Malachi started looking like him. At that point, the family got attached to the child, hoping he was truly one of their own.
He was younger. It favored Ventris, you know, and I wanted this would be his first baby. You know, I wanted to be. He don't have any kids. You know, me and him already close. So I'm like, oh, it's a baby. I'm excited. You know, I'm gonna go get it. So I go get it. Me and my mom examine the baby. Look, we got the baby up to me. We got the baby up to Ventris.
Then another twist surfaced. After Mr. Ventris's tragic passing, Miss Chris started questioning everything. She accused Miss Thompson of seeking attention and clout chasing.
He was just really like clout chasing, and then you know when you die.
What's clout chasing?
Clout chasing is like she wasn't doing what she was doing when she just told Ventris. She was like under the radar, not trying to keep it a secret. But when Ventris got killed, she was all baby Ventris this, baby Dusky this.
I've been saying baby Dusky before he passed.
It seemed like Miss Thompson was playing games. First, she named another man as the father. Then, she claimed she hadn't slept with anyone during the conception window, and now she admitted to having a boyfriend, but insisted they had no sexual relationship.
She thought
No, my boyfriend
was
no
that baby
possibility
father.
that my boyfriend could be his father. We didn't
So
start
you never
messing
told
around
us
till
it was-
after I found out
So
about
you're saying you met your boyfriend after you already conceived Malachi?
No, after I found out I was pregnant.
After
with
you,
Malachi.
well, that's probably what I meant.
Miss Chris wasn't buying the excuses. She revealed that when they initially requested a DNA test, Miss Thompson came up with more lies and dodged the request.
When me and my mom contacted her, like, did you order the DNA test? Oh yeah, I ordered the DNA test. It's in the mail. It's still in the mail. So
No.
So basically, she said to you, "I'm getting one and it's in the mail," but it never came.
I
She
was
was
gonna
avoiding
get
because she
one.
knows this not my brother.
No, I was never avoiding it. I wanted a DNA test every time.
But we didn't get one, and that's why we're here today.
Exactly.
Yes.
With both women at odds and their conflicting testimonies leading nowhere, the only way to settle the dispute once and for all was to reveal the DNA results.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Marianne Miller and Malachi Thompson is 0.001%.
You knew
they
it
are
wasn't.
not related.
You knew it wasn't. And I just want you to stop on Facebook saying, that's my brother baby, because you knew in the first place it was.
Imagine finding out that your girlfriend was cheating on you with your own father, and now they might have a child together. No one wants to be in that situation, but if it happens, paternity court is the place to seek answers.
Ms. Marr, ex, Mr. Belding, and his mother have made false accusations about the paternity 3-year-old daughter, Jordan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Belding, you're here with your mother. You claim little Jordan's biological father may be your own father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Amber had been living with her father-in-law for 3 years, which sparked suspicions. The defendant stated that the plaintiff had shared a bed with his father, an accusation that left everyone stunned.
We were living in Georgia. We shared a room with Amber.
He had nowhere to go, so I took him in.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but his sister lives there. He has numerous friends in Indiana.
His sister would not
I live
with
there.
her.
He works. He could have lived other places than with her. He's lived with her off and on for the past 3 years.
It was
Yes.
He had reasons to doubt her, but those doubts turned into certainty when a close friend revealed that his baby mama had a sexual relationship with his dad. Meanwhile, his grandmother added that Miss Amber had already taken a paternity test with another man.
She told us that it was a
I still have-
possibility to begin
I have
with.
all the proof of that.
She thinks Zach's the dad, but he can't do nothing with her. He's not allowed.
And yes, she did let me in one time to see Jordan.
3
But
times.
any other times, she slammed the door in my face.
Except for the night you spent the night and you had sex with her, which was just 2 months ago,
Yeah.
Your
We
Honor.
didn't have sex. Your
So
friend
for
was
them
in
to
the
be
same bed,
together
Your
for a
Honor.
year.
And the defendants further claimed that Miss Amber was unfaithful and had a history of getting different men to sign the baby's birth certificate. However, the plaintiff dismissed these accusations and presented her own evidence to refute them.
I would never, ever give it that man.
She already
He's been a
said he's
childhood
going to be
friend
the
for
dad. I'm going to sign the birth certificate. We were all there when it happened.
because he was around for 9.5 months.
If she thinks I'm the father, why did she have another man sign the birth certificate?
I have a birth certificate right here. Birth certificate's right here, and there's no other man.
Okay,
on this
can I
birth
say it's because she lies to us all the time?
Mr. Belding, the alleged father, initially refused to believe that his own father would betray him like this. But after living under the same roof for years, he started to suspect that Miss Amber may have seduced his dad.
Mr. Belding, you don't think you're Jordan's biological father, and you really think your dad is.
I wouldn't think my dad would do something like that. But if he was drunk, they were living together, obviously, and she walks around the house half naked.
I never walk
And my
around
dad-
the house happy.
I've had to tell her to put clothes on when she was 14 years old, and I went to the trailer to visit him.
Then, a shocking revelation surfaced. Belding Sr. allegedly admitted to his son that he had slept with Miss Amber multiple times. This confession completely changed the narrative.
It was different rooms in your testimony earlier.
Yes, in my 3-bedroom apartment, it was different rooms together.
See, now see
Not
who's
together.
lying? See how the story
So wait a
changes?
minute, so wait.
Our story isn't changing like hers.
And
Do
then
you
when
think
we
it's
moved, we did.
appropriate for you to be sharing a bed on any level?
Well, we don't
with
sleep in the same room.
his father?
At this point, Judge Lake stepped in and asked Mr. Matthews, Miss Amber's father-in-law, about the situation. He firmly denied ever laying a finger on his son's girlfriend.
How do you feel your son is accusing you of being the father of Ms. Marsh's daughter?
It's a little frustrating.
Your son, he's concerned that you're the person that invited her to live with you. When you guys went to live in another state, he says you arranged for her to come with you guys. Is that true?
No.
But things took yet another turn when it was revealed that another man had been taking care of Miss Amber's baby. However, the defendants claimed that she had also been unfaithful to her new boyfriend and had once again slept with Mr. Belding.
You're saying Mr. Hull is your boyfriend now?
Yes, ma'am.
And you did not cheat with Mr. Belding less than 60 days ago?
No, we never had sex. His best friend was in the same bed.
You were in the bed with him?
Yes.
And your
but it
friend
was not
on
2
the
months
floor.
ago.
Yeah, it was.
Not 2
It was
months
less
ago,
than
Your
2
Honor.
months ago, Your Honor.
No, it wasn't.
When was this?
It was way before me and him got together.
And you two been together how long?
4 months.
With accusations flying and the truth buried under layers of deception, Judge Lake had heard enough. Their chaotic back and forth wasn't getting anyone anywhere. The only way to settle the matter was to open the envelope and reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Belding Sr., you are not Jordan's father.
Thank you.
Already knew that.
Mr. Belding Jr., you are her father.
Thank you.
That's my baby.
That's our baby.
That's my baby.
This case was nothing short of a disaster. Mr. Hammond claimed that his unfaithful wife had shattered their marriage with her endless lies. According to him, she had been involved with another man when she conceived the baby.
Hammond, you claim that after 10 years of marriage and repeated attempts to get pregnant, a month ago you finally gave birth to your miracle baby, Isaac. You need today's result to prove to the defendant that this is his baby. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
From the start, the defendant emphasized his wife's habit of lying. He alleged that she had been involved with multiple men throughout their 11-year marriage, constantly manipulating people, including him. But now he was done being deceived. Enough was enough.
He lies to my face constantly. So how am I supposed to believe someone who's telling me it's night and it's daytime? You know what I mean?
So you say she lies to you all the time?
All the time. She had me in a snowsuit in the middle of summer. I can only be the fool so many times to where I'm putting my dukes up because I'm tired of being that fool.
Mrs. Hammond's alleged promiscuity had reached such an extreme that even her own lovers warned Mr. Hammond. In fact, one of them even sent him a video of himself with his wife, proof that she had been unfaithful.
I've seen a video of my wife giving oral to another man.
That is such a lie. There is no video.
But was there a man and was there oral sex?
In all honesty, there has been cheating on both sides. My husband cheated on me first. I took it the wrong way. About a year after that happened, I did end up, I've cheated on him. It was known on both sides. It wasn't something that I hid.
Determined to prove his claims, Mr. Hammond presented further evidence, including text messages that suggested she had been involved with someone else. The messages enraged him so much that he posted something on Facebook.
The other man writes, "So good to finally see you. You look hella good, babe. Made my day for show." And then you write, Mrs. Hammond, "Just made it back to sack. And I miss you already too." And then the other man says, "Thank you for texting me. Can't wait to see you again. Kiss, heart, kiss."
Right.
Despite the mounting evidence, the plaintiff kept denying everything. She insisted that the texts were harmless, saying they were sent by a friend. But this time, Judge Lake wasn't having it. She cut off the excuses and refused to let Mrs. Then.
I met him at our local county park, said hello to him. It was a friend that we had both worked with.
Don't waste my time. This is not an exchange between a coworker and you just met at the park for a minute. It ain't that many kissy faces in the world that you got to type after you meet a coworker at the park.
Another bombshell dropped. Mrs. Hammond had been telling people she was single. In fact, some didn't even know she was married, which left Mr. Hammond completely shocked.
You believe that this person could be Isaac's biological father?
Yes, ma'am, and numerous others. I mean, she's moved so single, I don't understand how she claims to be a married woman.
As lie after lie unraveled, Judge Lake took the conversation in another direction, asking about Mrs. Hammond's pregnancy. It was revealed that when she was about to give birth, her husband wasn't by her side.
Left me at my house. He left and went to the casino with another woman. Mind you, after my water broke, I had to drive myself to the hospital. He didn't show back up to the hospital until 20 minutes before I gave birth, and he was there. He cut the umbilical cord, stayed for about maybe 45 minutes, and he left again.
Mr. Hammond, however, denied this claim. He insisted that he went to the casino alone just to gamble, but this response only made things worse, triggering an intense reaction from Judge Lake.
Why were you at the casino gambling if your wife's giving birth
That's a good
to the
question.
baby you prayed for?
Right. I can't have an answer for that one because I don't know.
What kind of craziness is this?
Right?
Now that's one we've never heard, Jerome. My water broke. Great, I'll be at the casino.
Right.
Jackpot. At this point, it was painfully clear Mrs. Hammond's unfaithfulness had left their marriage in ruins. Mr. Hammond believed she had cheated on him with multiple men, possibly 13, 16, or even more. He claimed she had lied and manipulated her way through everything.
How many times have you cheated?
I've been with 3 other people.
I know at least 6 that she's been with.
Why are you saying these numbers?
Because she would tell me anything. I mean, I've been the brunt of the joke many times. You know what I mean? So it's hard for her to say, this is your child.
Despite all the chaos, only one thing could reveal the truth: the DNA results. It was time to open the envelope and find out once and for all.
Mr. Hammond, you are the father. God answers prayers.
Yes, ma'am. I get that. It's time to be a man.
What would you do if you saw a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her life, selling dreams of wedding bells, only to leave her in chaos? That's exactly what happened in this case.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Miss Davis's child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. As a result of being alleged the father of Aubrey, I lost my wife and I want to regain my family.
You lost your family?
Your Honor, I was married and me and my wife went through a separation due to a rough patch.
Well, a brief separation gave him the perfect excuse to sleep with another woman. Before long, he was entangled with Miss Davis. Yet despite his actions, he was desperate to dodge accusations of fathering her baby girl because his marriage was on the line.
We was never together.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
married, Your Honor. It just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, which is, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation.
Yes, ma'am.
That you want to try to put the family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Davis, on the other hand, claimed they were in a committed 2-year relationship. The man even admitted to manipulating and lying to her for his own gain, only to turn around and blame her for the downfall of his marriage. Wow, what kind of man does that?
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5 years we was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
you might have gotten more than you bargained for, right?
He did, a child. He wanted to marry me. He wanted to get a divorce from his wife.
No,
he wanted
Your
to be
Honor.
with me.
No,
Then, Judge Lake dived into the pregnancy drama. Turns out, Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of the picture, expecting a future with him, and instead of facing the truth, he put on his deception hat and played both sides.
I was good to her, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do, I felt I needed to do.
2.5 years, how we're not together.
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be.
But here's the kicker. Claimed Miss Davis went as far as reaching out to his wife on Facebook, causing turmoil in his marriage. Seriously, this man had no control over his own actions, but wanted to pin the blame on someone else? Make it make sense.
He inboxed her on Facebook, which
Right.
caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Did it cause the havoc or did you cause the havoc?
He did, because
Miss Davis immediately was like, "Well, it doesn't matter what nobody else think. Oh, I ain't going nowhere."
Right,
there was
'cause you
this-
lay down with
this
me.
Position, this position.
that's your
I've got you
father,
now.
so you know.
I've got you now.
And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, Mr. Wiggins hit the court with another twist. He alleged that Miss Davis had been involved with another man around the time she conceived, basing his claim on text messages he saw on her phone.
My family member seen her be picked up by another guy.
that was my cousin.
That
I
she
wasn't
claims
being
to be her cousin. While we were at the hotel, she happened to be taking a shower, and I think I was using her tablet for something. And this guy inboxes about meeting her again, and she's telling him, "Oh, I need some more
I never
loving."
slept with him,
So
Your
to
Honor.
me, saying more means that it's already happened.
To back up his claims, he even presented an exhibit in court, arguing that Miss Davis had forged changed his name on the birth certificate, but how she supposedly pulled it off, now that was a whole other story.
This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
Says 11/11/1990.
And
I
you
didn't
wrote.
write anything. And also in the state of Florida, because I was married, I wasn't just supposed to go on her birth certificate.
Of course, Miss Davis shut down all his lies. By now it was clear. Mr. Wiggins was a compulsive liar, throwing baseless accusations at her just to save face. And to make matters worse, it was revealed that he and Miss Davis were still sleeping together.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No. Your Honor, we was at separate hotels, no, Your Honor. That's not
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor. We did go to dinner, Your Honor. But
And afterwards?
I went to my respective places.
No, he came to my room.
Mr. Wiggins, you look like you lying.
No, because...
At the end of the day, Mr. Wiggins was playing both sides while claiming he wanted his family back. But all their back and forth only complicated things further. The only way to settle this mess once and for all, the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father. Miss Davis, what are you feeling?
I've been going through this for a long time, like between him and his wife, like.
It's his child.
Right.
You are the father.
Never let anyone take your absence for granted. It might just land you in a paternity mess. That's exactly what happened when Mr. Taylor found himself standing before Judge Lauren, facing off against Miss Jackson.
Ms. Jackson, you admit to an affair during the window of conception with Mr. Green, who will join us momentarily, but you are in court today to prove to Mr. Taylor that he is your son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The trial began with a story of deception. It turned out that Mr. Taylor had ghosted his family, disappearing to another city to pursue his career. Miss Jackson argued that she had tried reaching out to him multiple times. He ignored her.
Mr. Taylor left me and my children stranded in Florida while he went away to, I guess, chase his dreams, knowing that we had nobody and knowing that we had nothing. And I felt alone and I felt as if I had no one. And I felt that Mr. Green was there for me when Mr. Taylor was not there for me.
By the time Mr. Taylor returned, Miss Jackson had already moved on and was involved with another man. But when she spoke in court, she shed more light on the situation. She insisted that Mr. Taylor had abandoned his family without looking back.
Mr. Taylor didn't send any money while he was away. All right. This supposed job opportunity that he had, during this job opportunity, he never sent me or the kids any money. We barely had any contact with him. There was no one for me to turn to but Mr. Green. He was the person there for me, giving me emotional support.
Mr. Taylor, however, had a different version of events. He claimed that Miss Jackson had gotten intimate with another man immediately after he left, and that's why he was questioning the baby's paternity. The courtroom heated up as neither party was willing to back down.
Days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th.
If he would have never left us there in the first place, this whole situation could have been avoided. If he would have just been a man about the situation, be a man about the situation.
He didn't have no money.
Leave a message.
Kids was on the verge of getting taken away.
I'm going to go.
He's saying.
Now, adding more fuel to the fire, Mr. Taylor revealed that he had caught Miss Jackson texting another man, Mr. Green. According to him, she had tried to settle things with Mr. Green first, but when he denied the baby, she turned around and pinned the child on him instead.
Was she texting?
Mr. Green, can I name the baby after you, the standard third?
He knows the situation behind that. Your Honor, I was messaging Mr. Green because I knew that he was potentially the father of my child.
Whatever.
And yes, I was messaging him, trying to be on his good side because I didn't want us to be on bad terms.
How did you see her messages? You looked through her phone?
I went through her phone.
And you could see it all there.
I can't trust her.
To get the full picture, Judge Lauren summoned Mr. Green to the stand. When questioned, he admitted that his relationship with Miss Jackson had been complicated. At one point, he had even asked her to move in with him.
When I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta, just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with her, didn't want to take care of the kids. So I'm sitting there and I feel bad. Right? So I sit there, I feel bad. She got 2 kids. I look over, she messaging him stuff. I didn't really know what for, so I didn't really care. But like I said, she told me he didn't care. He stranded me down here with the kids. He don't care about the kids.
From cheating scandals to getting caught red-handed, the drama in the courtroom continued to unfold. As more details came to light, Miss Jackson's story started to shift. Initially, she insisted her fiancé was the father. Soon became obvious she wasn't even sure who the biological father was.
You move in
staying with Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor.
At what point do you go back to Mr. Taylor?
When he dropped her.
No, he didn't drop me. I left.
When he dropped her.
No, I left.
When he dropped her. Everything I'm saying is
Your Honor, this man
just
thinks
like
he's
this
the
child ain't
smartest
mine.
man in the world.
Just like this child ain't mine.
He knows it's a
quite more smart
possibility.
than you.
Hold on, let's not get out of...
Each new revelation only made the situation more complicated. The courtroom had turned into a battlefield, with secrets unraveling one after another, yet no one had the answers they needed.
Your Honor, I don't know which one is the father because I had sex with both of them.
Thank you. That's it. That's why we're here. So the bottom line is you really don't know. You told him he was the father. You messaging him as well.
Telling him he the father.
Because you don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Judge Lauren knew there was only one way to end the chaos. With tensions at their peak, she took control of the situation and prepared to announce the DNA results, the only thing that could finally bring closure to this paternity mess.
His biological father is Mr. Green.
I figured. That's fine. If that's mine, that's good. And I respect you for being there.
I was about to say, you got a good child though.
I do want to apologize to Mr. White because I knew exactly where he was for so long. I just kept telling myself, you know, Mr. Wright is my father. I hid from him.
Another relative of mine decided to tell me, well, there's a possibility that your dad isn't your dad, that another man is your father. The name that they gave me, I searched for years. I couldn't find my dad, but I'll work on building a relationship with Mr. Garcia because if he is my dad, we need that relationship. My kids need that relationship, but my kids will always know Mr. Patton as their grandpa as well. It's the way it'll be, period.
Miss Miller recently discovered the possibility of having a second father after 3 decades, a revelation that is quite astonishing. She has taken Mr. White to court in an effort to establish that he is not her biological father, while Mr. Wright anxiously awaits in the hallway. This scenario resembles a real-life soap opera.
Defendant Mr. White proved to him that he is not your biological father, even though he has believed he's your father your entire life. The man you now say is your father is waiting in the hallway. Mr. White, it was only 2 weeks ago that your daughter revealed to you that you may not be her father.
Miss Miller's mother once nonchalantly confessed that she was uncertain about the identity of Miss Miller's father, leading to a complicated situation where Miss Miller has been managing relationships with 2 fathers. Rather than making a choice, she decided to maintain both connections, fully aware that this secret could not remain hidden indefinitely.
I was raised around both men, but mainly around Mr. Wright. I spent most time with Mr. Wright. I used to go over to his house twice out the month, and I hardly spent any time with Mr. White. Up until the age of me being a teenager, I called both of them dad. My mom, her back was turned to me, and she said, I don't know who your dad is.
2 weeks ago, Miss Miller revealed the truth to both fathers, an act that required considerable courage given that neither was aware of the other's existence. The ensuing reactions were undeniably awkward, setting the stage for a tense situation.
What happened 2 weeks ago?
Like I said before, I felt selfish because I didn't tell. I had to build up the nerve to actually call them. I addressed both of them. Hey, Dad. Took a deep breath, and I was like, I want you to prove that you're my dad. And I asked him again, I was like, I really want to know because I don't know. And then I said, my mom told me that she doesn't really know who my father is.
Mr. White was understandably upset to learn that there was another father involved. His response was one of disbelief, questioning how after 30 years this information was coming to light. He felt a mix of anger, sadness, and confusion as he prepared to confront his newfound rival.
Oh, you weren't aware all of these years?
Nope.
That she was calling another man dad as well?
Nope, I don't even know who he is. When I got that phone call, I was wondering, where would you get this from out of 30 years? If she can find out that I'm not her father out of 30 years, somebody could have told me.
Throughout her upbringing, Miss Miller's mother ensured that the 2 fathers never crossed paths, a task that proved to be quite taxing. Visits were carefully orchestrated, with strict instructions to avoid any mention of the other father. As a child, Miss Miller accepted this arrangement, but the burden of such secrets can be significant.
Take their toll.
I go over here, I don't mention this dad. I go over there, I don't mention
And you
this
knew
dad.
that as a child?
Yes, it was unwritten. It's like a habit you pick up. Like once you see, I saw my mom talking to one, you were forbidden to say the other's name. So what I did as a child was just picked up on what I saw. Well, on Father's Day, I never really had Mr. White's number like that. I didn't call him all the time, and he never had my number. I do want to apologize to Mr. White because I knew exactly where he was for so long. I just kept telling myself, you know, Mr. White is my father. I hid from it.
Both fathers now await the results of the DNA test with bated breath.
Determined by this court, Ms. Miller's biological father is Mr. White.
This narrative is already quite extraordinary. Miss Ames grew up under the impression that one man was her father, only to have another man appear, asserting his claim as the true father. Mr. Garcia is requesting a DNA test, while Mr. Patton argues that he has invested $40,000 in her upbringing, insisting that he deserves recognition.
Mr. Garcia, you say you searched for your daughter for more than 25 years. You say the DNA results will prove to Mr. Patton that Ms. Ames is your daughter. You state that after raising your daughter and paying more than $40,000 in child support, you were informed that Mr. Garcia was claiming Ms. Ames is his daughter.
Social media has a way of reconnecting individuals, and in this case, it led Mr. Garcia to discover Miss Ames online. Their meeting left her questioning whether he might indeed be her biological father. However, the situation is about to unravel further, revealing hidden family dynamics.
A year ago, I was in Jersey visiting my family, and I was really looking for her on Facebook, wanting to find her so we can reconnect, because I always called and always asked about her, and I was really looking for her heavy. We found each other on Facebook last year, and we met at my mother's house and reunited, and we started talking from there.
Miss Ames was unaware of the possibility of another father until she turned 21. Her mother had never disclosed this information before her passing, and a distant relative casually revealed the truth. Eventually, she located Mr. Garcia after recognizing his likeness in a photograph online, prompting her to think, I can see the resemblance.
Like I needed some resolution to it. Take you back. My mother died when I was 13 years old. When I was 21 years old, another relative of mine decided to tell me, well, there's a possibility that your dad isn't your dad, that another man is your father. The name that they gave me, I searched for years. I couldn't find him.
Their initial encounter was filled with emotion, yet tinged with awkwardness, reminiscent of a viral reunion video. They even paid a visit to her mother's grave, a moment that was both touching and melancholic. Mr. Garcia extended his visit to meet her daughter, but the situation soon escalated.
There was an instant connection between the two of us. Instantly, we went out to my mother's graveyard because he didn't know anything of my mother passing because he was so far away. He was supposed to go back to Florida. He stayed an extra 2 weeks because he wanted to meet my daughter. I'm torn. I have 2 kids, and I want my kids to know who their grandparents are.
In a surprising turn of events, Mr. Patton is not willing to concede easily. He asserts his role in her life from the very beginning, having cared for her and contributed significantly in terms of financial support. Even the judge appeared impressed by his commitment, yet Mr. Garcia is just beginning to make his case.
You feel like you're 100% certain you're her father.
Yes, I was there for her at birth. When she was born, I used to rock her to sleep in my knees. I stayed with her family, or I stayed with them for like 10 years, working and taking care of my responsibility, which was her.
You were responsible for child support for how many years?
18.
18 years you paid it.
Yes.
They're both my dad, but I'll work on building a relationship with Mr. Garcia because if he is my dad, we need that relationship. My kids need that relationship, but my kids will always know Mr. Patton as their grandpa as well. It's the way it'll be, period.
As the courtroom awaits the results, a palpable silence envelops the room.
I feel like I'm torn in between because deep down inside, I need to know. I need the answers, and I can't speculate on what my parents did. This is something they should have figured out 30 years ago.
You are most certainly correct.
I can't say what they did and what they didn't do because I was a child.
It has been determined by this court. Her biological father is Mr. Garcia.
Miss Curtis initiates legal action against her mother, Miss Hall, due to being misled for 14 years regarding her father's identity. It is revealed that her mother allowed her to believe that another man was her father, despite this not being the case. Additionally, there is an enigmatic individual outside who may actually be her biological father, complicating the situation further.
Miss Curtis, you have brought your mother, Miss Hall, to court today because you say she hid the identity of your father from you for 14 years. There's a man waiting outside of the courtroom that your mother believes could be your biological father, yet you still have no idea that's the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Family secret is disclosed by Grandma when Miss Curtis is 14, revealing that the man she believed to be her father was not. Miss Curtis had to maintain silence until her mother eventually confessed, as she always felt a sense of alienation, akin to being adopted.
My grandmother, she sat me down and she said that she wanted to tell me the truth about who my father really is to be, and that my mother has been lying to me for the past years of my life, which was time was 14 years old. And I said, okay. I felt that it was the truth because I always felt like I was adopted. My father, he really never really showed me the affection, the love at all.
The narrative of her mother's life resembles that of a teenage soap opera. She became pregnant at 15 with a man named Kirk, but subsequently began a relationship with someone else.
I did not tell my daughter a young age about who her father was. Simply one, because I was a young girl. I was pregnant at the age of 15. I gave birth to her when I was 16 years old. Kirk lived pretty much like a fast lifestyle, you know, which attract to him. And being young, I didn't even know that I was pregnant because I didn't know anything about the body.
You didn't know what it meant? You were just so young?
Yes.
She admits to being unaware of her pregnancy, mistakenly believing she was not expecting because she experienced her period once, resulting in utter confusion.
I knew one day that I'll have to sit a real down and talk to her and let her know who her father is. The time that I set forth for her was at the age of 16.
But what if something was supposed to happen to me in between the time?
I was the mother. I was the one who took care of you. To me, because I was the mother, I was the one that was supporting you, keeping a roof over your head, and making sure that you went to school and you got the education that you needed.
Miss Curtis confronts her mother, questioning why she chose to reveal the truth only when she turned 16. Miss Hall claims her focus was on being a responsible mother, but Miss Curtis is skeptical.
The same night that me and my nana, we had the discussion and we found out where he was, then I started to write him letters and everything.
Where he was in prison, I wrote a letter to Kirk in the prison telling him the things that was going on. I was kind of nervous after I got to writing the letter, so I took the letter and I hid it at my mother's house.
She expresses her feelings of loss regarding significant moments such as father-daughter dances, indicating her deep emotional pain.
This is the first time she'll ever see the letter.
He does state he's willing to be the father she needs and deserves, and it's signed Kirk.
I know you may not understand how I feel about this right here. That's where I feel like I was deceived and crossed. I had my time that I had set aside to do the right thing.
She wants me to be like, I'm the bad person regardless.
Miss Curtis learns about Mr. Whitaker through family rumors and decides to write to him while he is incarcerated. Although her mother is reluctant to send the letter, another family member intervenes.
I'm actually somewhat doubtful, and having said that is because the way the situation went down. When Tamika initially told me, hey, I'm pregnant, you're the father. But as I remember, she was also in a relationship with someone else. That was actually convenient for me, being that I was with somebody. I'll take my part, hey.
Mr. Whitaker's response alters the course of events significantly. The judge's reading of his letter proves to be pivotal.
He wanted to know little things about me so he can get to know me through the letter. He promised me when he come home, he'll do things with me that he's never done. When he got home, he didn't do none of that, and he still haven't done none of that. I was trying to help him get out of the halfway house so he can come home and spend time with me. He want to break everything that he said, spend less time with me so he can be
The judge subsequently reviews the DNA result.
Do you believe this is your daughter?
I believe it could be my daughter. How can I say when she was messing with other men and you give someone else another man's name?
I think it's time we have the result. 22-year-old Abrel Curtis, Mr. Whitaker, you are her father.
Wow, what an incredible series of stories. Family secrets, courtroom drama, and the search for truth make for some truly gripping moments. If you're fascinated by stories like these and want to dive deeper into even more captivating narratives, be sure to check out the other videos on our channel. There's always something new and intriguing waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
You are not her father. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is a horrible situation. Every reason why we have to be careful of the choices that we make.
A father was here for a second chance. A journey of regrets and heartache brought the plaintiff to court to claim paternity of the daughter he denied 35 years ago. Yeah, you heard that one right. Let's see whether that daughter accepts this or not.
You say as a young man, you were not ready for the responsibility of being a father and denied paternity of Patricia Liggins. After 35 years of living with denial and regrets, you are here with your sister to prove Ms. Liggins is in fact your biological daughter.
Mr. Crawford's sister also tagged along with her brother in moral support. Well, he was in desperate need of it, and he denied Miss Liggins 3 decades ago. Oh, I can just feel this isn't gonna be a piece of cake at all.
It's been kind of up and down because for a long time, we didn't know anything about it. And once he got in touch with her, I realized that it was eating away at him. I knew her mom. We grew up together, grade school. I believe she's ours too.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
It's been 35 years.
Right.
Well, two strangers were about to meet for the first time. But they were not only that, they very well could be father and daughter. However, Miss Liggins had been in the dark her entire life. She had no clue about the existence of this man, and now all the conflicting emotions were ravaging her heart. Poor woman.
I've never heard of him in my life. It's been 35 years. No one in my family, not even my Auntie Linda, so I'm surprised that she's here saying that he's my father. Too much time has gone by, in and out of foster homes, not knowing who my father is, and then now you're telling me this man is my father. It's just too much.
Buckle up, people. It's not just a paternity question here. Nuh-uh. It's a tale of life's unexpected twists. Yep. Miss Liggins dived headlong into how she only got to know about this potential father just a year before.
Last year, my aunt and my little sister, they were at some type of barbecue or what have you. And they called me on the phone, and I'm thinking, like, this has to be a joke. So my aunt gets on the phone, she's like, do you want to hear from your dad? I'm like, my dad? What dad? That type of terminology doesn't even exist to me.
Miss Liggins has been alone and was still alone at the podium as her aunt was siding with the Crawfords. Miss Shaw claimed she did tell her niece about it, but she denied it. Well, that didn't stop Miss Shaw, as she remained firm on her claim. And quite boldly, may I add.
You believe Mr. Crawford is her biological father?
Yes, Your Honor. And first of all, I've told China about her father.
That's a lie. I've never heard of this man in my life.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Your Honor, because I know him in the court of law. I've told China about her father. They told her father was dead. That's why she didn't pursue to look for him.
Mr. Crawford had been silent all this while, and that won't fly in this court. Nope. He recalled how he and the baby mama ended up together all those years ago. Turns out it was a situationship rather than a relationship.
Her mom and I, we went together. We was out celebrating on the 4th of July, and we ended up being together. One time, after that, I haven't seen her mother anymore until she had a baby came around, and I said, who baby is that? She said, yours. I said, no, I don't think so.
So you're saying we were intimate with her mother?
Right.
But you all weren't in a committed relationship?
It was just one story after another. Years of all this drama, and the choices that these guys made ended up breaking the defendant down, right in the middle of the court. Guess she had enough of their sordid tales.
This is a horrible situation. This is every reason why we have to be careful of the choices that we make. We cannot. Right. People get hurt by this. God, this is, oh God. I'm just here for answers. I mean, again, I don't have anything against this gentleman here. He seems like a nice guy. I just don't want to get my hopes up.
Next up, we heard the tale through Miss Shaw. And when I say she had a way with words, you better believe me. Man, oh man! She enlightened the court the time the deed was done, which resulted in Miss Liggins. And she was graphic.
She asked me if he could spend the night. It was during the July 4th, July weekend.
And you're saying Mr. Crawford and your sister were intimate in your house?
I'm quite sure they was, because the door was closed. You ain't doing nothing with the door doing closed.
Mr. Crawford, do you remember being intimate with Miss Liggins' mom?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you ever wondered what life without a father was like, well, you're about to get glimpses of it. Miss Liggins did make peace with the fact she would never have a father, but the reality of his absence still reared its head in her life from time to time.
I'm just trying to figure life out on my own, so it's been very heartbreaking, you know. Sometimes I would be so confused. I'll see other people with their dad, like, man, I wish I had that. Then I'll just have to, like, pull myself up by the straps and just keep it moving, like, oh, well, it is what it is. I just began to accept things for what they are.
The plaintiff had spent his whole life haunted by that one choice, where he denied this girl. But he had enough of that now. He was stepping up, and he did so when he started checking up on the defendant daily since the year before. So much so that she got annoyed. For real.
Linda ran into my sister and I. She didn't see me at first. She seen my sister and said, you have a niece. And she said, I've been to call for y'all. That's the first time I started speaking with her. And
and he would text me every day. I even started calling him Pops.
I started texting her.
From the moment?
From that day
forward.
now.
He would text me every day. I kind of like got irritated by it. Like, dude.
This whole ordeal was emotional to say the least, but not just for the baby daddy, but also for his sister. His choices robbed her of a potential niece as well, and now she was on a path of redemption as well, right alongside the rest of them.
I feel like if she's his, I let her down too.
Mr. Crawford, during that time, you testified that you denied it was your baby. When she said, this is your baby, you said, no, it's not.
I had denied it on the thing about me having intercourse with her on July, and they saying she was born in January. Didn't add up to me.
3 decades-long paternity puzzle was about to be solved in a few moments. The lifelong answer that the plaintiff wanted was about to be revealed shortly. Whether Miss Liggins finally gets a father, or if that void remains. Let's see.
You are not the father.
Man.
Good for you. Okay? Look at me. I know a lot about your mom, and I'm sorry, I didn't know either.
I'm hoping everything turned out all right.
I'm sure you would.
We are about to witness a clash of stories over here. The plaintiff claimed her common-law husband didn't cheat and fathered the defendant's daughter, but the defendant was ready to stand her ground with her daughter.
When did you first find out about Miss Patton as one of Mr. Wallace's children?
The jury is still out on that one. I never found out. All I know is that I've known him since I was a teenager. We lived together. He's my daughter's father. And I never knew of Kaisha being his daughter.
Yep. Miss Young was pretty adamant that she never knew of Keisha being her baby daddy's daughter, and she seemed quite furious about it, while Miss Patton had met the guy only once in her life.
I found out when my kids started getting Social Security, and then a few months after that, I got a letter from Social Security indicating that someone was applying for Kaisha Social Security for her father also. That's when I got my first knowledge that he was supposed to be her father.
Next up, we get to hear the nitty-gritty of the one conversation the alleged daughter shared with the baby daddy. She recalled the details quite vividly, so much so, Judge Lake couldn't help but be impressed by it.
My grandmother, she said, tell her, and he just stood there. I'm your daddy? I said, are you? And it kind of went back and forth, and he was like, well, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. And he took care of some other stuff around the house, and then he shortly left after that.
He left the house? Mm-hmm. And you were still there?
Yes.
The defendant had to recall quite a few terrible memories of the torment she faced at the hands of Miss Young, and that was a lot for a young girl to handle at such an age. The two girls shared a bond that later got tarnished by the adults and their drama.
At 35, I'm still living 10 years old, 12 years old. As a child, I would play with Tamika from my knowledge.
And you're saying as a young girl, you would be picked up and you would do things with Miss Stapleton?
Yes.
As if you were sisters?
Yes.
By the looks of it, the girls continued developing that bond when they were kids. Even though Miss Young was told the not your sister narrative, she still maintained their connection and playtime. Little did they know that this paternity was going to keep following them through the years.
I remember hanging out with Kaisha, yes. We would hang out together. She would come over, we would play. After Mom told me that she was supposed to be my sister, my daddy told me she wasn't my sister. It was just like I made up in my mind that, I wanted to play with her anyway. I wanted to, be friends with her. I liked hanging out with her.
Miss Patton's birth certificate wasn't signed by anyone in all these years. But Miss Terrell still claimed that Mr. Johnny knew all about her and the pregnancy. But according to the plaintiff, the baby daddy gave money to Miss Patton to nullify the pregnancy. Of course, that didn't happen, as they were all here now, years later, still fighting.
He aware when you were pregnant with Miss Patton? That this was his child?
He was aware. I was a virgin when I first met Johnny Wallace. Me and him used to hang out. He used to come to my mother's house. I used to go to his grandmother's house.
Man, that was
Okay, listen. What I'm trying to find out is when you found out you were pregnant, did you say to him, I'm pregnant?
No.
A paternity saga that continued down the line for years and years. It was about time it came to an end, as the rest of the proceeding was getting the court nowhere. The answers that brought them here were about to be revealed. Here goes nothing.
Miss Patton and Miss Stapleton, you are not related.
Already knew.
Miss Stapleton, are you okay? I see you overcome with emotion. What are you feeling?
I just feel like we should have known this a long time ago.
The plaintiff was taken up by a whirlpool of revelations and uncertainties when she recently got to know that the father who raised her wasn't her biological father. Now, Miss Webster brought the defendant to court in hopes of seeking the truth.
Mr. Ware, you admit that you had a relationship with Miss Webster's mother around the time of conception, but say for the past 40 years you were told Mr. Smith was her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, the cat was out of the bag now. Miss Webster got a whiff of this revelation through the salon she worked at. And when she couldn't get a concrete answer from her father, her curiosity led her to do her digging. And so she did.
I heard a relative say that that's not none of your father. I started questioning. I asked my mom, I talked to Mr. Smith, like, why are they saying that I'm not a part of their family?
When you questioned Mr. Smith, what did he say?
He said, you will always be my daughter. I believe in my heart that you are, and no matter what, you'll always be my daughter.
Mr. Ware got to narrate his side of the story, and he was firm on the belief that he didn't father the plaintiff. Now, why was he so sure about that? Because the baby mama had said so in the past, and he never questioned her again.
At the time when her mom and I were dating, she was in between two cities, Louisville, Kentucky, and Dayton, Ohio. And she would spend months there and months here. During that time, when she became pregnant, she explained to me that she was and that it was another man's child.
Not having a father tortured the heart of the defendant so much that she went to the church for any kind of answer. It was clear as day she was desperate. Her tears were proof enough. However, she revealed she did get a sign, but the defendant still dismissed it. Quick and painful.
I've just been praying, that I find out who my father is. There's things in my life, there's roadblocks and stumbles I've been going through. There's things goals I'm achieving, and knowing who my father is one of them. And I came to the Lord. I went to the altar. They had altar call, and I went up and I just prayed that God give me a sign to reveal what's going on.
The daughter was still hopeful though, and she brought along a witness too. It was her mother's cousin, and she knew more about their life apparently than they did. Interesting. However, she did give her theory as to why the mommy claimed the defendant wasn't the father.
I believe in my heart when Miss Webster left Louisville to move back to Dayton, Ohio, that she left her pregnant.
Do you know anything about why her mother chose to tell him you're not the father?
I think she may have told him because when she moved back to Dayton, she started a relationship with this other guy.
Next up, we got to hear from the father who raised and paid child support for the plaintiff all this time, but didn't believe he was the one who fathered her. And he brought along the good old conception calendar to back up his claim.
Last time I was home on leave was late November. So in order for her to be born in September, she had to be conceived either late December or early January. I was in Fort Hood, Texas.
And if you come home for Thanksgiving, that's too far away.
Yeah,
that's almost...
That would make Miss Brady 42 weeks pregnant. I don't know nobody to carry a child 42 weeks.
About time the mother dearest joined the court and shed some light on what was going on. The person who started it all. Yep. Now she came and claimed that the father who raised Miss Webster was the real deal. Could it get any more complicated?
Once we got together, Mr. Smith went back to the service, and then I was pregnant. When Mr. Smith called me one day, I said, you know what? I'm pregnant.
I've never received that call, Your Honor.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
You don't remember this conversation,
No,
Mr.
I don't.
Smith.
Not at all.
A web of secrets that has kept this story hidden for long enough. Miss Webster deserves to get the answers she needs. The only concrete proof was the contents of that envelope. So, let's get right to it then.
You are not her father. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
We shouldn't open up a can of worms. That can of worms should have been closed.
But I deserve to know.
A brave woman was about to confront her past in the hopes of finally putting an end to the lifelong paternity mystery. All her life, Miss Smith was plagued by this one question. Who was her father? And today, she hoped this man would give her this answer she so longed for.
You're here today because you claim that growing up, you were told again and again that different men were your dad. Today you say you hope to put an end to a lifelong mystery when you meet a man for the very first time that you finally believe is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, how did this quest of connection come to be? It was time for the plaintiff to tug at our heartstrings and take us along her journey of finding her father. Miss Smith went to a heck of a lot of trouble during all this, but she was still standing strong. Now that's something.
When I was 15, I was told by a cousin that the guy that had been raising me was not my biological father.
Did you confirm that with your mother?
I did. They both ended up talking to me. They told me the truth about it and that there was a different man that was biologically my father.
Miss Smith's whole childhood was marked with unanswered questions, but she never gave up. She was brave indeed. After years and years of searching, finally she was given another name. She made contact with him, and there she went, hoping again.
Finding out the truth that he wasn't, in fact, my biological father. And
did anyone ever tell you why?
No. I asked him who hung around back then, in their group or whatever, and he had mentioned one man that could in fact be my father.
Grab some tissues, people. It's about to get emotional here. The plaintiff was about to meet the man she hoped would end up being her father. And he was here with his wife, and both of them welcomed the potential daughter wholeheartedly. Now that's an all-worthy moment indeed.
You're gonna meet him for the first time. He is here right now with his wife. Did you have any idea she existed?
No idea whatsoever.
He's real close with his children.
Oh, I can just feel this case is gonna be an emotional roller coaster. Mr. and Mrs. McBride came all prepared. While he did remember the time he spent with Miss Smith's mother, he had no idea of her existence. And now, he was pretty positive she belonged to him.
You do remember the relationship with Miss Smith's mother, am I correct?
Yes, I do. I've talked to mutual friends and everything else, and I was never told. I had no idea whatsoever.
So you've seen her mother, talked to mutual friends you've had.
Yes.
And no one has ever mentioned Miss Smith?
That it was a possibility at all, no.
Oh dear, these guys weren't making it easy for the daughter. They only had boys, and they always had wished for a daughter. Now, fate was dangling one right in front of her. Furthermore, they also brought a present for Miss Smith. Now, whose hope wouldn't skyrocket after that?
Mr. McBride, you said you have boys.
Yes, I have two boys.
Do you have any girl children?
No, I don't. I would have loved to have had a little girl.
We bought her a dress because Dave said that he had never gotten to buy her one. So if she's his, we bought his little baby girl a dress.
The poor woman had suffered long and hard in this quest to find her father. Miss Smith finally found one who could be. The only push she needed was the DNA results confirming her hopes. Let's see whether that truly happens, or will her search keep on going?
Mr. McBride, you are not her father. I know this was not the result any of you wanted.
Your Honor, I stayed there, Your Honor.
I had to threaten you to come back. I called you on the phone and said, get your punk behind back here to this hospital right
Your
now.
Honor, that's after she had
And he slept
Your Honor,
the
that's
whole time
after she had the baby, Your Honor.
And let's not
That's
talk about
after
the
she
birth
had the baby.
certificate when you
When
signed
we
it. You'd rather go get high with your cousins and your friends.
Yeah, crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
Miss Webb.
There, get her there. Get her there.
Mr. Webb, Miss Reams, stop.
But I want a lie detector.
Listen, we don't clown in this courtroom.
Mr. Webb and his girlfriend say there is zero chances that Mr. Webb fathered Ms. Cole's 6-month-old child, Majestic. Mr. Webb is certain of this because he is sure he did not sleep with Ms. Cole. Ms. Cole says he is lying. and here is how.
All right, Ms. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with for the past 3 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Webb, how can you be so certain you are not this child's biological father?
I never had sex with her, Your Honor.
That is one defense we don't often see in paternity court, but Mr. Webb is sticking to his guns. He really believes that Ms. Cole is just making everything up. Given what we know about paternity court cases, how likely is this to be true? Let us hear what Ms. Cole has to say.
Dates line up, and I know he stayed with me for 2 months, and he slept in my bed with me for 1 night, and we had sex. April 11th.
That's when you believe you conceived your daughter?
Yeah.
Mr. Webb, this is strange. What was the nature of your relationship?
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it.
He ain't like that.
Your Honor, the worst that we've ever done is take a picture, and she was already in the bathroom. She had called me in there. When I walked in the bathroom, she said cheese and took a picture before I could even say anything. I didn't even want to take that picture.
Oh, Mr. Webb really has a lot to say here. He thinks that Ms. Cole is the craziest woman in the world and believes that she just wants to take advantage of him. But Ms. Cole's mother does not think that is true at all.
You know dang good and well that me and my husband took care of you the whole time you were there.
I didn't see you but one time the whole time I was there.
Yeah, you were in.
All right,
let's get some order.
You're a sideshow. You need help just much.
Let's get some order.
So, Ms. Cole, you said you and your husband were taking care of Mr. Webb?
Yes, and my grandkids and anybody else that needed.
Really? Everything? Why would Mr. Webb need so much supplies anyway? Was he homeless? Was he in some sort of situationship with Ms. Cole? Let's see what else is going to happen here.
So you're over there hanging out, partying, because you're friends with Ms. Cole.
He had multiple friends there when they had the party.
And what you're saying is you never ended up being intimate with her, like
No.
she's saying.
All right,
No.
where did you sleep?
On the couch, in the living room. Is there something wrong here?
Mr. Webb, how did you find out she was pregnant?
Can I show you?
Do you have a diagram?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Please step forward.
This is how this went, the first message. She messaged me saying, hey, I got an ultrasound. I said, okay, can we leave it at that, Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life and move on. And this is not doing either of us any good. So just do me a favor and stay out of my life in the inbox.
Mr. Webb certainly sounded really clear there. He never, for one, entertained the idea that the baby could be his, and that sort of clarity is rare even in paternity court. Fathers, even when they are just a possibility, tend to accept that the baby might be theirs. But Mr. Webb isn't accepting this at all, and it continues.
Saying by what the doctor is saying, the due date matched to when we blanked, that's all I'm going by. After this is where I'm like, she's literally crazy. Because now I understand what she's saying. At the first text, I'm thinking, okay, she's hinting towards it. Now she's full blown out, trying to say that we did stuff. So that's when I'm like, there's something wrong with her. Okay, this is the last one. This is how this ended.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a thing now? Babies don't look like anyone while they are still in the womb. That doesn't even make any sense. That is the first real sign we get that Ms. Cole doesn't even know what she is talking about. So what does Ms. Cole have to say about this?
He admitted to my cousin.
You are a liar.
He admitted to my cousin that he was the dad.
What do you think, Mr. Webb, is Miss Cole's motive if you say you've never slept with her? Why manufacture all of this?
I think she's obsessed with me. She's obsessed with me or something.
No.
I don't know what it is. I've been trying to figure out
There's
the
one
last
reason
year.
why I'm here. To know for sure he's the dad. Because I did have another partner. It was a month.
Okay, hold on a minute. This baby is just 6 months old. It is a little too premature to start saying she looks just like him or doesn't look just like him or something like that. That does not even make any sense. Let us learn about this other possibility.
For certain that the other guy was the dad until my due date got changed a month ahead, which would make him the dad. It went from February 22nd to January 28th.
But Mr. Webb says he never slept with you.
And he did.
But he did.
For sure, yeah. It was a lousy 20 minutes. I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, there was 2 witnesses there that said that
Even her family members are denying her story. It is always a bad look when you get on paternity court and even your family members think you are lying. But let's really look at this. Is there any possibility that Mr. Webb could be lying because of his girlfriend?
Yeah.
I've thought of the possibility, and Me and her have had this conversation over and over. She knew I was over there partying. I didn't hide nothing from her. We talked that night on the phone over 4 or 5 times.
Well, you could talk on the phone with her 4 or 5 times a day and still end up in the bed with Miss Cole. I mean, that's doable.
Every time I party, I've never been the type to wake up and not remember what I've done the night before. I know myself. That's just how it is. Unless there's something I don't know, like her drugging me or something.
Without Miss Cole, without being too graphic.
Yup, that is right. Both women are arguing over the size of Mr. Webb's penis. Does it get any better than that? No. Anyway, it's time to see who is lying and who is telling the truth. And the only way to do that is through the paternity test.
Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Yeah, crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
Miss Webb.
There, get her there. Get her there.
Mr. Webb, Miss Reams, stop.
But I want a lie detector.
Listen, we don't clown in this courtroom.
Ms. McKeever has no doubts in her mind that Mr. Arnold is the father of her baby. Mr. Arnold, on the other hand, says that Ms. McKeever admitted to sleeping with 2 other men, and one of them is the father. Here is how that drama starts out.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. McKeever, he says he's on support. What does he actually do for your son?
Well, actually, he has not done anything for my son. My sister has been playing a big role in my son's life, far as buying him diapers, if I need money to get my kids clothes.
But he's on child support. Are you doing anything for this child?
No, it's not my child, so why would I pay anything?
You feel confident it's not your child.
Right.
So you've chosen not to pay anything at all.
Yeah, sure.
Even though...
Oh, Mr. Arnold is a wild one. You cannot simply choose not to pay child support if you are already required to. If you don't pay, the police will simply hound you down, strip you of your driver's license, and sometimes put you in jail. The point is, it isn't a choice, but Mr. Arnold doesn't care whatsoever. Here is how he explains himself.
It's not my child, so why should I pay anything? I got put on child support because of not showing up to a DNA test.
Oh, you were named... why didn't you show up to the DNA test,
I don't
young
have
man?
any transportation to get to this place.
But look where it ended up.
Really? Really, Mr. Arnold? You let lack of transportation stop you from showing up to a DNA test, which means that you might be on the hook for child support for 18 years, even if you turn out not to be the father. He allowed that because he didn't have transport? That is insane. What does his aunt have to say about this case?
There was another young man involved who was supposed to be these kids' dad.
Who is this
now,
young man?
After 2 years, now all of a sudden, my nephew is being blamed for these kids.
Who
These
is this young
not
man?
his children, because if they was, why would you name another man saying that they was the dad? But all of a sudden you took it.
I'm asking a question. Who is this young man? Do you know?
I don't know him personally.
Who is
No,
this
I
other
don't.
young man, Ms. McKeever?
The other young man that I was with.
You told the other guy that this is his child.
Yes.
And you told Mr. Arnold.
Really? If she did all of that, why is she in paternity court today trying to prove that Mr. Arnold is the father? Why is the other man not here with her? This doesn't make any sense. Let's see if Ms. McKeever can clear this up.
Now 2 years later, look where we at. This don't make no sense.
So once she told you you were not the father, Mr. Arnold, what happened?
The fake DNA test showed up then. Him out for 2 years, blocked him off of Facebook, no contact. 2 years later, this girl pop up and tell him she need to talk to him. When she gets him and talk to him, she tell him that she did the DNA for the other guy, and he not the daddy. Christopher wanted a copy of the DNA test.
After 2 years, you finally did the DNA with the other guy? Explain.
Okay, so as my son got older, when he started turning 1 into 2.
Oh, now I see why Mr. Arnold is standing here. If Mr. Arnold and the other guy are the only 2 possibilities, then Mr. Arnold has to be the father here. If Ms. McKeever is telling the truth, there is around 0% chance he isn't the father. So does she have evidence of this DNA test?
0%. So what I did was...
Do you have any evidence of that test?
No, I don't have the evidence with me.
And she wouldn't let us get a copy, and she wouldn't let us take a picture of it so we could have some evidence.
These are Mr. Arnold's exact words. He said, I had a feeling that that's my child because every time I come around him, I have a connection. He always kept telling me that.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't know it was another guy involved until after she came back and showed me the papers.
He's lying on that part. The time that we was in a relationship, he knew about the other guy. So it's not like I just got with Mr. Arnold.
Wow. This is crazy. So Mr. Arnold knew about all of this, but somehow wants us to believe that he isn't the father of this kid? If he felt that the kid wasn't his, why did he constantly say he had a connection with him? That makes no sense, right? Well, Ms. McKeever has more to say.
His family cannot sit here and tell him that this is not his child because y'all was not in the bedroom with us when we did what we did, and y'all was not living with me. Y'all wasn't calling him, asking him.
You can clearly see that there is no love lost between this two. But hold on, because Mr. Arnold has one last defense that he believes will stand in this court. Let us learn what that defense is.
I don't understand why I'm being put through this.
So, okay, so you say he doesn't look like you.
He don't.
So when he was 1 and she said he's starting to look like you, and you said, yeah, I thought that was my son because we have a connection, did that happen?
Yes, Your Honor, but...
You did say that.
Right, but
Exactly.
he don't...
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not understanding.
Let Mr. Arnold finish the statement.
Okay.
He 3 now. He don't even look like me now.
It is kind of hard to believe Mr. Arnold now. Is he saying the kid does not look like him so that he can get off the hook for child support? Or is he saying it because he truly believes the kid does not look like him? Anyway, Ms. McKeever has her own theory, and it is insane.
First of all, you are 27 years old.
I mean, you can see
you are a grown man. Why every time you have a problem or we have anything going down, you gotta run to your family members?
That's what we
Why don't you step up and be a man and worry about your kids? Because at the end of the day, me and you are going to be taking care of those kids, not your family, not nobody else. That's how I look at it.
You don't know
so
what
therefore, I'm not just bringing him to try to plant a baby on him. Because like I said, when I met Mr. Arnold, he didn't have nowhere to stay.
And she has a point there. Mr. Arnold does not look like he has too much going on for him in his life, so it is unlikely that Ms. McKeever would want to pin her kid on him. Anyway, the only real way to know who is telling the truth is to check the DNA test results.
Mr. Arnold, you are his father.
That's what we wanted. That's what we here for. The DNA, the truth.
Your Honor, I will step up to the plate. I want to be around all my kids.
Ms. Ham says she is tired of having a back and forth with Mr. Kisner over whether he is the father of her baby or not. She believes he is, and she wants him to be a present father. Me, Kisner says that isn't possible because he isn't the father. Here is how it starts out.
Given everything up to be with Miss Ham, but now you claim her promiscuous and foggy past have caused you to doubt that you fathered her son.
Yes, Your Honor. Trying my best, Your Honor. I do not have a steady job, that's right. But I am trying my best to be there for Zayden.
And you seem emotional right now. What are you feeling?
Well, Your Honor, I betrayed my family.
Wait, what? What does Mr. Kisner mean by that? He betrayed his family? This is paternity court, not a mob flick. So Mr. Kisner better be talking about something Judge Lake can handle. Let's see what he means by betrayed his family.
Well, I came back home and my family was telling me, don't go back there. No, you're here now. We got you back home. Don't do that. And I just decided to go back there.
Why is that a betrayal?
I just feel that's what my family thought.
They don't want you to go back because they don't believe that Zayden is your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
And there we have it. Underneath the surface of most paternity cases, there is usually some grave secret like that. The fact that Ms. Ham slept with Mr. Kisner's friend is probably why he does not trust and thinks she is lying about fathering his babies. But hang on, it gets worse.
And his friend had broken up with my friend. He just wasn't there for me at the time. I felt like we were both partying and he wasn't talking as much.
You weren't really getting along with Mr. Kisner that well?
No.
You felt like he wasn't stepping up to the plate as a boyfriend or doing what you need?
So
why
I broke
is
up
it you
with
chose
him.
to date?
I broke up with him and then...
Why his friend, though?
I don't know.
It is crazy that most times when women who come on this court want to step out, they usually do it with someone close to their partner. Forget about the morals of it all. That is just reckless. So what did Mr. Kisner do?
Miss Ham could show me change, and, you know, she did. She really stepped up as a mother and left all that life behind. So
She did?
She did.
So, Miss Ham, were you with anyone else?
No. Not besides his friend, and then that's it. I got taken advantage of.
It really looks like Mr. Kisner isn't here of his own will. There is just something in his voice that tells us he was forced here and just had to see this process through. He may not be a present father, but he definitely does not sound like someone who doubts the paternity of his kids. But back to Ms. Ham. Does she even remember how many people she slept with during that period of her life?
Do you truly remember everything you've done?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I know what I did, and I told him exactly what happened the next day.
They are both in my home right now, and I believe that Mr. Kistner is insecure.
To be honest, she sounds correct. It is obvious that this relationship is cracked, but Mr. Kistner and Ms. Ham look like young people who want to get it right, and this DNA test results is the first chance for them to do that. So how has Ms. Ham been doing?
She has been an amazing mom, a completely different person. You know, we made that choice as a family to move out of state to get her away from friends, and that way that life could never come up again. She can start new. But they both have an opportunity here.
And that is the point of paternity court, isn't it? It is to give parents the chance to start afresh on the basis of truth and certainty. By getting this DNA test result, Mr. Kistner will understand exactly what he is in and if he is in it for the long haul. So what does Ms. Willen think?
I just don't. He's a great guy. He's great with Zayden. He's a great father. They just need that direction. They need that push. They need that oomph.
Mr. Kistner, is your doubt because your family doesn't think he's yours, or do you personally truly believe that this child is not yours?
Your Honor, I have so much doubt.
I don't believe that, because when I was around him in the beginning...
You kind of get the feeling that Ms. Willen is correct here. Mr. Kistner just does not sound that convincing when he says he has doubts that the kid belongs to him. It seems like he is speaking on behalf of his family. Here is more on that.
I doubt
that this child
We were
is his,
having
and you have
sex
not
every
given me
day
one
without
reason.
a condom. So that's why I know. I know what I did and I know what I didn't do. We were having sex every day without a condom.
Your Honor, I agree. Thing is that she would take off on me and leave me without knowledge of where she would go, what would actually be going on. The stories would not match up.
So you feel like she would go places and not tell you where she is, and you thought she was cheating. So she's flirting. Well, you can't get pregnant like that.
No.
What else?
There's doubt right there.
Well, his doubt does not seem very concrete. Ms. Ham insists she never cheated, and so does Ms. Willen. The only way to find out who is telling the truth is to see the DNA test results, and here is what those results say. And trust me, you are in for a nasty surprise.
Mr. Kistner, you are not the father. Was there any other man besides Mr. Kistner you were having unprotected sex with?
All I know is that time at the party. I remember at the end, and I freaked out and stopped, and then that's when he was trying to pick me up and my phone died.
Ms. Goddard believes that Mr. Harrison impregnated her just to trap her and has since refused to take care of the baby. Mr. Harrison thinks this is a complete lie, and he knows that he isn't the baby's father for sure.
All right, so Ms. Goddard, why do you believe that Mr. Harrison purposefully got you pregnant?
Your Honor, I know that he purposely got me pregnant because he told me himself, Your Honor.
Did you get her pregnant on purpose?
Well, that is a strong opening. How can you say that you impregnated this woman purposefully and then say that the baby isn't yours? How does that even work? Well, let us hear Mr. Harrison explain it.
We were in love, so I decided, I wanted to start a family. So I tried to start a family in which I assumed that this baby is mine or not. I don't know, to be honest. She cheated on me. Basically, she cheated on me with another guy. A couple of my friends walk up to me and they'd tell me that.
Okay, that makes a bit of sense. Mr. Harrison always wanted to start a family with Ms. Goddard, so when she got pregnant, it was great news to him. But then he learned that there was a possibility that the kid wasn't his because she'd been cheating on him the entire time. What does Ms. Goddard think of that?
To Mr. Harrison, that I had intercourse with another man as we were together, and he still proceeded through my pregnancy and the birth knowing that.
So you admitted that you had had sex with someone else?
Yes, I did.
And he stayed with you?
Yes, because he said he knew that was his child because he purposely did it.
Well, that may be true, but it isn't a gotcha, like Ms. Goddard thinks it is. You can purposefully try to get someone pregnant, but if they are sleeping with someone else at the same time, that kid may not be yours. Regardless of how purposefully you tried to get her pregnant, and it gets better. Because why not? Here is what Ms. Goddard's mom has to say.
Not only was she on her way to college, my daughter had an extremely hard teen life, and she got in a lot of trouble in school. She learned her lesson. She turned her life around. She then went on to school, got on the principal's list, had honors classes, went forward to go to school, got accepted into Hartford.
That may be true, but it is kind of odd to blame another partner for getting you pregnant when the intimate contact was consensual, right? Ms. Goddard could have gotten out of that relationship at any point, yet she didn't. And now she is blaming him because she could not go to Harvard? Really? Despite the fact that she was also cheating on him with another man? Is Ms. Goddard just not going to take responsibility for her own actions? And Judge Lake agrees.
About getting your education, you wouldn't have been engaging in those activities. Because women, young girls that live with purpose, conduct yourself in a certain type of way, and that includes protecting yourself. He could not take away any opportunity you had unless you failed to protect yourself.
He's a compulsive liar.
Your Honor.
He's a compulsive liar.
Oh, she is really mad that she has to be there for her daughter when the father of the baby is basically having a grand old time and doing absolutely nothing. So has Mr. Harrison done anything for this kid? Let's see.
I stayed the night.
And then left.
I stayed
and
tonight.
never came back.
Your Honor, I stayed there, Your Honor.
I had to threaten you to come back. I called you on the phone and said, get your punk behind back here to this hospital right
Your
now.
Honor, that's after she had
And he slept
Your
the
Honor,
whole
that's
time
after
period, Your
she
Honor.
had the baby, Your Honor.
And let's not talk about the birth certificate when you sign it. You'd rather go get high with your cousins and your friends than come there and sign the birth certificate.
Is that true, Mr.
Your Honor,
Harris?
I
Tell the
overslept.
truth. Tell the truth. Let the Lord love you because you're
I overslept,
You
Your Honor.
overslept for
I overslept, Your Honor. and then
on the day that you were supposed to sign
the birth certificate, yes. And I have my son.
Did you sign it?
You know, at some level, if you get pregnant for a man who oversleeps on the day he's supposed to sign the birth certificate for your kid, that is on you. You have no one else to blame but yourself for that. And it gets worse if you can believe it.
Nobody never came up to me. After that, they moved Anila to the incubator where she was, she was doing a little bad. They moved her there.
A little? He wouldn't know because he wasn't there, Your Honor. He wasn't there at all. I watched my baby go from
me right
a
there,
cold
Your Honor.
bed, and they had to throw her onto a warmer.
That's me, Your Honor. Right there. Why she has
Well,
me.
what happened afterwards? That you the first day. What about after that? It does not stop there. It doesn't stop there. And it's not fair to her to be without her father because you're selfish. That's not fair to her.
Your Honor, when I was born, my father
not
passed
fair.
away when I was a baby.
Okay, come on, guys. What are we doing here? So she knows that this dude does not take care of his own son. And then she agreed to carry his baby because she believed he was going to do for her kid what he never did for his other kid? Is that the logic here? That just does not make any sense. Let us get back to these cheating allegations. What are the details here?
I told him myself. I admitted to him when I first found out I was pregnant. When I first told him, I didn't tell him the guy's name. He went through my phone another time, and that's how he found out the guy's name, Your Honor.
I never found out the guy's name, Your Honor. I just found the text messages.
You went through the phone?
I went through the phone and I seen that she was talking to another guy and they was talking about having sex and they was talking about being together with each other.
Was this during the window of conception?
Your Honor, yes, it was. One day, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, he clearly understands that right now. And Ms. Goddard also understands what it means to have a child by a potential deadbeat. Because even if this kid turns out to be Mr. Harrison's, there is very little chance that he would suddenly become a responsible father. Oh well, let's see what the DNA test results have to tell us about this case.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father. Now you know.
Yep, and I will be taking care of her.
Mr. Harrison is suing Ms. Grant for paternity fraud. He claims he signed Aaliyah Harrison paternity document under false pretenses and he isn't her father. Ms. Grant, on the other hand, says she admits she lied about an affair, but insists that Mr. Harrison remains her kid's father. This is a tricky one, folks. Let's dive in.
Ms. Grant, you claim you may have lied about your ongoing affair, but you did not lie about Mr. Harrison being your daughter's biological father.
Absolutely, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Harrison, explain, why are you suing for fraud?
Well, Your Honor, I signed my acknowledgement for paternity for my daughter, and I've done everything for her since the day she's been born. I've had several people come to me through Facebook and through text messaging on my phone saying that, Aaliyah is not your daughter. I don't care what.
Oh, that's quick. Who doesn't know that friends help you keep paternity secrets no matter what? But hang on tight, folks, because this case is about to get crazier than you can imagine.
On her, and started telling me things such as, but also said, this child does not look anything like you. You need to start doing a little bit of investigation.
Well, she's
on your
biracial, Your Honor. What is she supposed to look like? She looks like herself.
She doesn't look like she has anything.
Ms. Grant, you do admit you cheated, is that correct?
Yes. I had a relationship with a man that I had met when I was very young. I met him when I was 18 years old. He was a good friend to me.
Wait, what? Well, if she's had the affair for 15 years and you have only been with her for 8, then you are the one she's having the affair with, don't you think? That's how it works, isn't it? Anyway, let us get more juicy details here.
So after 8 years with her and a previous child before the one in question, we have already had a child together. So she has been cheating on me literally the entire 8-year span that we were together, including the time I just don't want to do it anymore.
I didn't want to have to keep lying to him, Your Honor. I got tired of, being dishonest and being disrespectful in my relationship. And I gave him every option to, decide what he wanted to do. And so I decided that instead of letting somebody else...
This is insane. Ms. Grant is trying to act like coming out about a 15-year-old affair in the 7th year of a new relationship is some sort of moral choice. Is that really what she wants us to believe? That is crazy. But back to how Mr. Harrison found out in the first place.
And I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore with you.
And so, Ms. Grant, who was this person?
This person was a friend of mine. I had met this person when I was 18 years old. I was a single parent of a 2-year-old daughter at the time. He helped me with her. He helped me financially. He has bought cars. He has paid rent. He has paid bills. Okay. When I met Mr. Harrison and I told my friend...
She is using the word friend here very liberally. This dude isn't just a friend. He's a friend with benefits, and a lot of benefits it seems like. But this would not be paternity court if this didn't get worse, right? So, yes, it got worse. Of course it did.
15 years, but 8 years while you were with Mr. Harrison. How did you pull this off?
Lies.
Non-stop, the entire time. Because I've asked her several times throughout this entire 8-year relationship if she's ever cheated. Absolutely not. I would never cheat on you.
Yes, but I didn't lie about the paternity. I lied about whether or not I was seeing somebody. But like I said, the person wasn't even in our area at the time.
So you're saying you were not sleeping with this person?
Not at that time, no.
During the time Aaliyah was conceived?
Mr. Harrison has a really strong point here. Miss Grant says that she isn't lying and the baby belongs to Mr. Harrison, but how is he even supposed to believe that? Would any man in his sane mind believe that? Probably not. And there are more lies here.
You see what I'm saying? That's a long time to supposedly not just be,
that's a long time, but that's why we're here now.
So your point is, how do I believe that when you already admit?
She told me when she admitted up to all this, she told me, yes, it's been going on the whole time.
But I also, when I came clean, I gave you the option whether or not you wanted to stay, whether or not you wanted to go ahead and call it quits for good, forever.
Yes, you're right.
Or if you wanted to go ahead and, lay it out all out.
Because I'm not a deadbeat and actually want to be around my children if they're mine. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there. I told her time and time again, I said, I don't care.
Mr. Harrison doesn't want to leave the relationship, but he wants to know the truth. And he says he still loves Ms. Grant despite all the lies. He's a better man than most for that. But love cannot sustain a relationship. Only truth can. So let us get some truth out of Ms. Grant.
Grant, when were you last intimate with this other guy?
December.
In December?
Before Mr. Harrison and I decided to try and reconcile. We had been living apart for almost 10 months.
Almost 10 months.
And so this is just months ago, 2 months ago.
Let me say this. I had major ankle surgery in February of 2014. She decided that was the time she wanted to break up. And while I'm immobile, I can't even get up from the couch. After major ankle surgery, she was dolling up and darting out the door while I had to watch the kids on crutches. Couldn't even get off the couch.
And despite this, you still wanted to be with her?
Absolutely.
Absolutely? Okay, let's get this straight. This 15-year-old affair is still going on right now? She left Mr. Harrison and just continued the relationship like nothing happened. Can Mr. Harrison not see that he is the one she is having the affair with? And that the other guy is the main constant in her life? Guys, it gets worse.
That I was willing to bend over backwards and forgive her for all of her misdeeds. All of them.
What about all your misdeeds?
Every single one of them.
Don't sit there and act like you haven't cheated on me.
I'm not saying that.
He cheated on me with someone who is, he's an indie pro wrestler. He cheated on me with someone who they call ring rats. I did lie. I admit to lying about being.
So how am I to know?
With
how
somebody
am I to know?
else here and there.
How am I
so do you also admit, Ms. Grant, to basically defrauding him, basically saying this is your child when you knew for certain that it was not his child? Did you do that?
No, ma'am. I knew 100% that she was his child because she was conceived during a blizzard.
What does snow on the ground have to do with a child's paternity?
Because the other person doesn't like the cold weather.
Phew. This a lot. So Mr. Harrison also cheated. Maybe, just maybe, that is the reason he is willing to put up with all of Ms. Grant's lies. Maybe it is because he knows he has lies of his own. Anyway, here is what the DNA test has to say about this case.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
Ms. Greenhouse was set to be married to Mr. Thompson after being together for 11 years, but that wedding was called off because Mr. Thompson believes he isn't the father of her child. Mr. Thompson says he did this because Ms. Greenhouse cheated on him. Here is the full story.
You were going to marry him, and then now he's denying your son.
Yes,
Explain.
Oh, well, I was going to marry Gregory. We were dating for 11 years off and on. I have a 4-year-old son by Gregory, and I also have a 7-month-old by Gregory. I called off the wedding because he's insecure and he's disrespectful, and I don't want to marry someone like that.
After 11 years, you just figured that out?
No, it's like, no, we were together for 11 years off and on, but I had my 4-year-old son. I went off to college. Right after I had my 4-year-old son, I got pregnant. We tried to make it work there.
Phew, that is heavy. 11 years of dating someone you are not absolutely certain you would end up with. That is cold. 11 years is a lot, and to do that with someone you are not a 100% sure of? Well, let's see what Mr. Thompson has to say.
8 of them, I was the one trying to keep this together when it's always fell apart because
How? You're always accusing me of sleeping with somebody.
Her family and all the rest.
You're not in a relationship with my family. You're in a relationship with me.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
But why do they always come up?
So how do your mama, this one, and the other sister, how everybody think they got more authority over me and mom?
How? I separated from everybody.
Explain to me what's going on here. I'm not understanding. You're saying her family caused the rift as well?
When we made G, we wasn't even together. I was going over there back and forth.
So you're admitting now that
afterwards, when
Hold on, Mr. Thompson. So you're saying when you made G, meaning...
And that is what all paternity doubt cases come down to. Mr. Thompson believes that Ms. Greenhouse was cheating on him, and that is why he believes that this 7-month-old isn't his. But Ms. Greenhouse thinks this is just nonsense, and she tells it as it is.
Come at me like that. You asked me
it's not a lot. What I do?
2 weeks
What
prior.
I do?
Then we had sex. I
My
had
bad,
sex with
Mom.
somebody else.
What I do? I went through
2
your
weeks
phone.
prior.
I went through your
2 weeks
Facebook.
prior.
It ain't no 2 weeks.
She testified 2 weeks before, and you're questioning that time frame? If so, how?
Like I said, around that time, we wasn't together. We was seeing each other a little cordially here and there, but not really.
But we
I guess it was maybe it was around, I can't remember exactly the time it was around, but when I came and everything happened, even with leading up to that time, I'd already confronted her, and she admitted out her own mouth.
Wow. Ms. Greenhouse clearly feels very strongly about these allegations, but we also know that people can seem to feel very strongly about paternity doubts and still be wrong. Let us hear more from Mr. Thompson.
And she used to say it then, you only with me, or you only try to keep this together because of SJ, which is my first boy. And
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Man, look at here. Like I said,
we was only together because of SJ.
This is what you told me multiple times. You don't really want to be with me, Greg. You only with me because of SJ.
I told you that.
And to a major extent, yes, because of my son, the all-American way, your mom and your original mama and daddy and raising your kids together. If it don't work, it don't work.
Because, Your Honor, I love Greg. I've been with Greg for 11 years. Greg was my first actual boyfriend. I planned on having a wedding with this man. I have 2 kids by this man. I planned on living my life with this man. When Greg talking about my family, when I was pregnant with my son, me and my family had an altercation and fell off. I didn't talk to my family for months at a time. When I moved out of my sister's house and moved into our own apartment, I didn't have no communication with my family. They shouldn't even be brought up in this.
These are the main ones who helped you draw your relationship to the ground.
What do they got to do with it? You keep living in the past.
Well, we are in the present, and in this present, Mr. Thompson thinks that Ms. Greenhouse cheated on him with other men, and one of those men is the father of the baby in question. Are we going to hear more about that? No. But we will hear more about Ms. Greenhouse and Ms. Thompson's mother going at it over $20.
If anything, when they fall on hard times, I help y'all with rent.
You have never called Greg and asked him to borrow $20 into another day to hold you over?
Nope.
Never.
You know what? You know what, Christy? If I have, I've given him millions. I should have.
Okay, and what's the problem with me giving my family?
I should have.
What's the problem with me giving my family?
I'm not addressing your family. What I am telling you, and what I'm telling you while you frown, is when it's all said and done, I help them as much as I can. With rent, you know it, lights.
What I'm trying to understand is if she admits to you that while we were off, I slept with someone, and then you decide to get back together. You know this, right? This is not a surprise to you that she was with this other person, but you're saying that's what makes you have doubt.
Mr. Thompson keeps bringing this up, but he is bringing up nothing that has to do with actual evidence or details that may prove his case. He is just saying he knows she was sleeping with multiple other people. How does he know this? Who knows? But he has some theories.
Okay. Yeah, she know this. This is not the first time it came up when she contacted
Your Honor,
you.
he said that my son
I said something in the hospital.
Mr. Thompson,
when we was living together.
Did you help choose the name?
I did it. Yeah, I chose the name. I came up with
and you were at the hospital when G was born?
I've been with her the whole time she was pregnant.
And you signed the birth certificate?
Yes.
I've been with her the whole time that she was pregnant.
Before we signed the birth certificate, I asked him did he want a DNA test. He told me no.
You're saying you did, in fact, help choose the name.
I did the whole.
Ms. Greenhouse has suggested she asked you about a DNA test and you declined.
I said something about it, and she said they're not gonna do that here.
That's a lie.
That's what she told me.
They don't do DNA tests at a hospital.
And so,
Mr. Thompson keeps trying to come up with evidence that does not make him look like a total dunce, and he just can't. He just can't do it. I don't know if Ms. Greenhouse is just so much louder, but he just can't do it. Anyway, let's listen to some witnesses.
Chrissy and Greg rekindled their relationship.
You're saying you were there and you overheard something as it related to Mr. Thompson not wanting to have a DNA test?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you hear?
When it came up to them going to the hospital to have G, Chrissy was talking to Greg or whatever. She was like, hey, make sure, right before they brought in the paperwork, the affidavit stuff. She was like, are you sure you want to do that? We can get a DNA test.
And that is how you kill a case. If this case did not have a paternity test attached to it, this would probably be the end, and we would already have awarded Ms. Greenhouse damages. But Mr. Thompson has something to say about that.
When I got my 4-year-old son back not too long ago, he gonna out of nowhere, Your Honor, he tell me, but that ain't my daddy.
But you got a whole girlfriend, so what am I doing now?
But that ain't my daddy. I said, what you talking about? I said, who your mom boyfriend? He said, yeah.
What you mean is you felt like he was saying it's G's daddy, but it's not my daddy.
That might be G daddy, but you my daddy, is what he telling me.
This is one insane case, and we can finally put an end to it by seeing what the paternity test results have to say. Will Ms. Greenhouse be proven to be nothing but a liar? And will Mr. Thompson be proven correct? Let's see.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thompson, you are the father. You are the father.
I feel more relief.
For what? And you knew this from jump.
I did.
You knew this from jump.
You knew I had doubts from jump.
Everyone's entitled to their beliefs or doubt, but my whole thing is like, don't doubt my son when I break up with you because you're disrespectful.
I told you this when we was together.
No, you did not.
I told you
you didn't start
He didn't have my head. He wasn't my way. He was way my first son.
And I'm going to ask you too, every day you have something to do that requires you to be away from your kids. How many kids are we talking?
2.
2. You left 2 kids with him? What do you have to do, ma'am, that's so important every day that you cannot have your own kids?
I gotta make money, so.
Doing what? What do you do for a living?
Whatever I need to do.
What's wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. It's just stuff I be needing to do, and I need somebody to watch the kids, so I take them over there.
Every day?
Yes, every day. I don't see the issue. Excuse me. You all will not address each other. You will address me.
The decision to leave her children in pursuit of financial gain raises serious concerns about parental priorities in contemporary society. It is difficult to comprehend how some individuals can prioritize monetary pursuits over the well-being of their own offspring.
She drops her kids off every day and does what she wants to do and doesn't leave any money for food or for any kind of things that the kids need. So I need some help financially because she didn't give me anything. I mean, just me giving my money out of my pocket that I retired with. So I need some help, seriously.
Okay, and where did you retire from?
From the school district.
Okay. How long were you there?
20 years.
Okay, great. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking in your daughter's kids because they could be a number of places, but thankfully they're with a grandparent. Ma'am, what do you have to say for yourself? First off, let me ask this question. Is what he just said true?
I mean,
it's a yes or a no. Is what he just said true?
Yes, it's true.
What's wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. It's just stuff I be needing to do, and I need somebody to watch the kids, so I take them over there.
Every day?
Yes, every day. I don't see the issue. Excuse me. You all will not address each other. You will address me, okay? And I definitely understand Dad's frustration. And I'm going to ask you too. Every day you have something to do that requires you to be away from your kids. How many kids are we talking?
2.
2. You left 2 kids with him? What do you have to do, ma'am, that's so important every day that you cannot have your own kids?
I gotta make money, so.
Doing what? What do you do for a living?
Whatever I need to do, honestly.
Ma'am, what does that even mean?
I do, you know, little dabble here, little dabble there, just different stuff.
You know what? You obviously came here to waste my time, and I am not about to play with you.
This situation exemplifies neglect as the individual claims an inability to care for her children while simultaneously concealing her professional activities. Such behavior reflects a profound lack of accountability, suggesting that she is not even attempting to rationalize her choices. The circumstances surrounding her actions, particularly while her father assumes the responsibility of caring for the children, are astonishing.
What was the last legitimate job that you had?
I was a waitress.
Okay, where?
At a club.
Is that what you call it, waitressing?
Yes, it was waitressing. What else was I doing?
You don't want me to tell you.
I want you to tell me.
She was strolling the streets like a prostitute. I mean, it's like, because you never see her until she dropped the kids off, and then I don't see her for 2 or 3 days.
That's what he heard. He don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
Who told him that? The streets?
I guess so. The streets had to tell him, because
I hear the streets tell the truth, right?
Sometimes.
They talk, right?
The streets talk, but sometimes the streets be lying, and that's what they doing at this moment.
I don't think they're lying on you now, ma'am. Every day your kids are with your dad? No, ma'am.
She belongs to the street. Rather than fulfilling her parental duties, she opts to wander the streets, engaging in unspecified activities. It appears she has entirely disengaged from her responsibilities, relying on her father to manage the upbringing of her children while she pursues her own interests. This is merely the beginning of her troubles as her situation continues to deteriorate. I invite you to share your thoughts on this matter in the comments.
When you were working at that club, how much money were you bringing home monthly?
Between $7,000 to $8,000 a month.
All right. And that's all tips?
Yes.
What I am going to do is base your child support on that $7,000 a month. So that would bring your yearly salary to $84,000 a year. Yeah, you can shake your head all you want to, but that's exactly what I'm going to do, ma'am. This is extremely disappointing that you leave your kids every day with your dad and you're not giving him any type of financial support. What are these kids on, they receive any type of government assistance or anything?
She gets food stamps every month.
Oh,
and I
no,
don't
ma'am.
see any.
You get food stamps? Where are the food stamps going?
At my house.
Who lives in your house besides you that need the food? Because your kid's over here with your dad. You don't give him any money from those food stamps?
No.
You know what? I'm not about to play with you.
Despite receiving food assistance each month, she still delegates the entirety of her parenting responsibilities to her father. This behavior suggests a lack of maturity as she seems to expect others to shoulder her obligations. However, she is about to face significant consequences when she learns the extent of child support she will owe her father.
You're net to $5,508.87. which will make your child support obligation $1,377. Now, you said that you were receiving, don't look confused. I don't even want to hear it.
I can't pay that every month.
You were not making those faces when you were out in those streets.
But
so don't come in here trying to make, don't come in here trying to make those faces. I am not trying to hear it. I've heard enough.
Your Honor.
And you are in the wrong. Yes, sir.
She has a man living with her too, so just in case you didn't know.
You don't need to tell her who in my house though, Daddy. For real.
Okay.
I'm just telling the truth. It is what it is.
It sounds like Daddy telling the truth. Well, it sounds like he needs to tattletale on you. Somebody need to. You are ridiculous right now. Sir.
Yes.
She receives food stamps. So I'm assuming there's some Medicaid or something these kids are getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm going to do is do 9% of that $7,000 for your reimbursement to Medicaid. That comes out to $496. So $1,377 plus the $496 reimbursement to Medicaid, that make your total monthly child support obligation $1,873.
I don't even know men that pay that much money every month. So why I gotta pay that every month? No, I guess I need to go make some money in these streets for that.
Okay, well, you know what? That is your business. As long as these streets pay Pawpaw $1,873 a month in child support.
It seems she may need to increase her rates for her questionable street activities, which will serve as a harsh wake-up call. Yet this is only the beginning. The next case escalates the situation further and also involves the same father. But this time, it is his younger daughter who is at the center of the turmoil, with motivations for neglect that are even more troubling.
This is my youngest daughter, Kayla, and we have her kid now, so we're trying to somehow get some more income because she's not giving us really nothing. And we just...
You all are just that great of grandparents. Your children want to leave their children with you?
Ma'am.
Well, they did such a good job raising me. They might as well.
Excuse me, Miss Paul. Give me an opportunity to speak with your parents, and I promise you I will come over here to you, okay?
Got it.
Okay.
I think my mama always been jealous of me, honestly. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
Sounds like y'all need therapy court instead of support court.
Jealous of her?
That's what she said.
Is that why you went missing for a year and a half?
Missing?
I was taking care of business.
At 16?
Yes.
What kind of business at 16?
You know what? Let's finish this business.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
With the
They all
child.
up in my business.
Well, you started it, but I'm going to continue it from here, okay? All right.
I believe
Mr.
she
and
don't
Mrs.
have
Paul.
any business since we have her child living with us.
How old is this child?
What is he, 6 months now?
6 months, yeah.
Oh, it's a newborn.
Yeah.
Yes.
You left your newborn baby with your parents?
Every day.
Well, I mean, people make mistakes. And
so
I'm trying to...
he's a mistake?
Wow.
You knew what you
Pretty
were
much.
doing.
If I could take it back, I would, honestly.
It has come to my attention that she openly expressed her regret about having children. One can only imagine the emotional impact this revelation will have on her children when they mature and come to understand that their mother perceives them as a mistake. This individual evidently grapples with significant personal issues, and with each statement she makes, she only exacerbates her predicament. It is clear that the situation is deteriorating further.
So you were pregnant within the last year and a half. Are you speaking about taking that back?
Yes, it was a mistake. People make mistakes all the time.
Our grandchild is not a mistake, okay?
I'm going to act like you did not just say that.
Yes.
I'm going to act like you did not just say that.
Wow.
And we're going to move forward with what's going on today.
Okay.
The reality is that you have a 6-month-old baby boy who you passed off to your parents. Okay? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. They're here today because they want you to pay child support for your son.
Okay. In my defense, they like set up the baby shower and all of that. I never signed up for any of that. And at the baby shower, they let me know that if it was anything that I need, they would be there.
Right.
And I need them right now.
Wait a minute.
So they should be here.
Hold on. Let's rewind. Mrs. Paul, give me 1 minute, okay? Give me 1 minute. Let's rewind something. They threw you a baby shower and told you whatever you needed, they would be there to help, right? Not to, is that a yes, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
They said they would be there to help, not necessarily take parentage away from you for your child. You understand that, right?
I understand.
They're grandparents. They're not parents.
Exactly.
Yes.
So don't you believe you should be financially supporting your baby boy while he's with your parents?
Hello.
I do, but at the same time, y'all doing it for Christy. Why can't you do it for me?
Well, and you think that's right?
That has nothing to do with that.
I mean, it's only fair.
So because they
not
have
fair.
your sister's children, they should take in a new baby?
I only had 2 of my own kids.
Well, you gonna do
Now
whatever
I
you
have
want to
3.
do?
I honestly think that it's only fair.
How? Make sense of that.
Fair?
Mrs. Paul.
I'm
Mrs. Paul.
I'm actually trying.
Hold on 1 second, Miss Paul. Mrs. Paul. You are asking some great questions, but they should come from me, okay?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. I understand the frustration. You all are grandparents. I remember correctly, Mr. Paul retired.
Yes, ma'am.
And you all have inherited a newborn baby, so I can definitely understand the frustration.
Ooh,
but
yes,
just
ma'am.
give me a moment to get your daughter's side of the story here, okay?
Okay, yeah, because I should be living my best life right now.
You say that, baby.
Traveling, seeing the world.
I do not necessarily disagree with that.
They always act broke. It's crazy.
Whether they act like they have money or broke, the point is that they have raised you and your sister. They should not be raising you and your sister's children.
Yes, ma'am, I hear that, but I'm actually trying. I graduated high school.
Congratulations.
I'm in residency school.
Congratulations.
And Christy, on the other hand,
We're not talking about her.
Excuse me, we're not talking about
Okay.
Christy. We're here to talk about you. Let's not put any blame or anything on her. First of all, she's not here to defend herself.
Right.
Secondly, we're talking about a newborn baby here that belongs to you.
This scenario exemplifies why certain individuals may not be suited for parenthood. She became pregnant and subsequently chose not to fulfill her parental responsibilities, which is a flagrant display of irresponsibility. While it is true that circumstances may have contributed to her current situation, one must exercise discernment in their choices regarding intimate relationships. However, the unfolding drama does not end here.
You're a parent now. And that's where I come in to make sure that you financially take care of this child.
Thank you.
Especially since the child doesn't live with you.
Exactly.
And hasn't lived. She only kept him for a week.
A week, Your Honor.
Miss Paul, is that true?
Well, I have to get back to school.
So the answer is yes.
I'm out here trying to save lives. I mean, yes, but...
But you're not trying to save your own baby's life?
Exactly.
What make that make sense?
When I have the time, I see him.
When? When's the last time you came and seen him?
I was just there last week.
After
For
what, a
5
month?
minutes?
That's besides the point. I will make time.
How is that beside the point?
This is their first time bringing up the time situation to me. So when it becomes a problem and they let me know, then I will make time.
Okay. But it's your baby. This is a baby. A 6-month-old needs a lot more time, attention,
exactly.
feeding,
I don't have that.
diaper
That's why
change.
I gave him. Well,
Gave?
Well, you didn't give him. You left.
Well, that's why he's with you all, because you all have time.
We don't have
You're
time.
retired. You have nothing but time.
We want to travel.
And live.
Well, take him with y'all.
Miss
He's
Paul,
6
Miss Paul,
months
Miss Paul,
old.
Miss Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
Your parents came in here not to waste my time.
Thank you.
You obviously, with everything you're saying, is wasting my time because it's making 0 sense. 0. Do you know how many parents have gone to school? Excuse me, I'm talking to you. Address me.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Do you know how many parents have gone to school and have raised minor children? It happens every day, every single day. So you're not doing anything that's special. But since you're choosing this route, then your parents have to do what they have to do and make sure that you're at least financially supporting these children. Now, how much is it that you're making?
I make about $48,000 a year. Here they go.
They didn't even know you were making this kind of money?
I mean,
answer the question. It's a yes or a no.
No.
You didn't tell your parents you're making this kind of money.
Now, it has emerged that she has been concealing her actual income, a typical tactic for someone attempting to evade child support obligations. It is astonishing to consider that she earns $45,000 annually, yet claims an inability to support even one child. This behavior transcends irresponsibility. It is utterly disgraceful, and her justifications continue to accumulate.
You know what? Let me move over to your parents for 1 second.
This little selfish little girl of ours. Oh my Lord.
What is this about? What type of relationship do you all have?
Well, we thought it was pretty good, but evidently it's worse off than I thought. I mean, we raised her to be a better person, but evidently she went off track somehow. But
Probably that year she went astray. That
probably,
year and a half.
yeah.
Okay.
She went astray for a year and a half
But
when she was 16.
What I want to know is who's the father? I mean, what is the father doing? I mean,
You know, that is a good question, Mr. Paul. Where is this child's father?
Do you even know who
Probably
he
in
is?
Hawaii with his wife or something.
What?
Oh,
I mean,
he's married?
I said it was a mistake. I said it was a mistake.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Now
Don't call
it's
him
making
a mistake.
sense now.
Call what you did was a mistake, but the
Exactly.
baby is not a mistake.
Exactly.
Okay.
The only
Well, the mistake
boy
led
in the
to
family.
the baby, so kind of all sound like a mistake to me.
Okay,
But-
well, you know what? I'm not going to mistake these child support numbers once I give them to you, okay?
Furthermore, not only does she neglect her children, but she has also engaged in an extramarital affair. It is perplexing, especially considering that her parents appear to be decent, hardworking individuals. This raises questions about the origins of such reckless behavior in both daughters. The most significant development will be when the judge determines the extent of her child support obligations.
This is ridiculous. You left that baby with your parents, do not provide any financial support, and then have the audacity not even to tell your parents how much money you're making. That's just wrong.
I didn't even think that I had to tell them how much money comes into
No.
my
No,
account.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Really?
You're wrong. And I'm not going to sit up here and play like you're not. I'm telling you to your face, you're wrong. So, net is $3,356.08. Who can? Never mind. How much is health insurance for this baby?
Which?
It's like 250.
250, yeah, 250.
For the baby alone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're also going to make you reimburse health insurance of $250.
Excuse me?
That bring. Oh, did you not hear me? You want me to say it a little louder? It's $250 for a health insurance reimbursement. Okay? Plus your child support obligation of $671.
Yes.
That brings monthly child support to $921.
Okay, well, if I gotta pay that, I'm not coming around like.
And you know what?
You're either gonna get child
And you know
support or
what?
time.
I missed something. I missed something because your parents asked for back pay.
Hello.
They asked for back pay since the baby has been living with them. That comes out to $5,526, and I'm going to have you reimburse that at $100 a month.